It's the Infinite Podcast. Go tell your friends. It's the Infinite Podcast. My God, it never ends. It's the Infinite Podcast with Rob and
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite Podcast, the podcast covering the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom. For movies, comics, TV shows, video games, we got you covered. I'm Rob. I'm here, as always, with Court. Court, we're recapping another TV series this week.
Yeah, we are. Talking about The Penguin.
Penguin.
The Batman's The Penguin.
From the Batman, what did Star Wars do? Star Wars stories?
Oh, The Penguin, The Penguin, a Star Wars story. That's much funnier.
The Penguin of the Batman story.
Right.
Yeah, so we talked about Agatha all along last week, and that was really, really good.
Yeah.
And the Penguin was also really, really good.
And they both do roundabout similar things to each other.
Yes. And they both do a thing that you should do as it pertains to like a TV show when you're centralizing around a villainous character is you don't redeem them.
No.
You don't make them cool.
They're bad people.
And this show did a great job of doing that through way of the cannon fodder character, which we're going to talk about as we talk about the show. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Penguin and a bunch of other stuff, starting with, unfortunately, some sad news from the world of entertainment, and that is that Tony Todd, notable actor and later voice actor, has passed away at the age of 69. Tony Todd, I mean, this guy, just an incredible career. Obviously, Candyman, obviously, is what his calling card is, what he's probably best known for, I would say. On the screen, and then obviously voice acting, also a very prolific career. We know him best as the voice of Zoom on the Flash TV series. And a voice that he carried over into many other voice roles. That kind of iconic like growl. I can't even really describe the voice.
I mean, it's ever present. I mean, it's one of those voices that kind of it looms on you and it weighs on you, and it's the presence alone just weighs on you, and these stink, man. These always sucks, and it's horrible to talk about every single time too. And for somebody that didn't live a full life on top of that too, that's where it truthfully hurts. But like you said, like from the Flash, like that was my introduction to Tony Todd. Obviously, he voiced Venom in the Spider-Man movie. It's just one of those voices that like, as I was getting older, like his voice just became so synonymous with like all this entertainment that I love too. So thank you so much, Tony, for providing, such great voices and such great, there's a nuance to him as well too. And it's not just like he's got the low gravelly voice. It's like, there's this like, for lack of a better term, I mean, the characters there's like this pain that comes along with this, like this ominous pain that comes with it too. So it's well done. Like it could be gimmickish to do something like that too, but it never felt like that. It just felt like it was Tony Todd being incredible.
Yeah, I remember, talking about Spider-Man 2 when the voice of Venom was first revealed as Tony Todd, and something about it, I was like, yes, like that just makes sense. Why wasn't Tony Todd Venom in other things before this?
Right.
And then you heard the voice obviously in Spider-Man 2, and you were like, oh yeah, like this is flawless. So yeah, it's just a shame. Just one of those iconic actors and voice actors that will sorely be missed in Tony Todd. On to the news of the week, other news of the week. So we're back with Christopher Nolan movie casting news. It's ramping up again, like we did with Oppenheimer. Yep. Every week it feels like we're adding to this cast of this new Christopher Nolan film, and this week is no different, as Lupita Nyongo has been casted in this Christopher Nolan movie that's coming out. So he's already assembling, again, much like he did with Oppenheimer, he is assembling a star-studded cast for his next film. Yeah,
I kind of love this way he's been operating too. I feel like it's kind of cool. Like, every single the last two movies he's done, he's putting together like this all-star cast. And even dating back to like you talk about Tenet. I remember when Tenet started to ramp up. Robert Pattinson, obviously, he'd already been cast as Batman by the time that movie came out, and including myself, I was just like, this is a good prelude to what his Bruce Wayne could look like eventually. Like, I do think his Bruce Wayne will still have a semblance of that at some points, but when the casting started to roll through, and obviously for Oppenheimer, people started to look. And I mean, after you make Oppenheimer, which you could split it any one other way. You cannot deny that's not it's one of the greatest movies that's ever been released. That is one of the greatest movies of all time. So notoriety is going to come with this. So how do you add notoriety onto somebody like Christopher Nolan? And I mean, it's through casting, it's through personnel is a good way to kind of go about it too. So Tom Holland, obviously, that's a big get, and I'm just very happy for Tom Holland too, that he gets to lead a movie like this. Matt Damon on top of that too. But I mean, now you're just adding straight up talent, like with somebody like Lupita Nyongo on top of that too. I mean, an Oscar winner on top of that too. It never hurts to add to your cast. And then, you know, I believe Zendaya said she's like only in like it's a bit of a cameo almost in the movie. You know what somebody said? They were just like, no, don't do the Inception dead wife thing again. Don't do it.
He might do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
He might do it.
Chris, if you're listening, and obviously you do.
He does. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this movie.
Me too. Yeah. Of course.
Like we said last week, I know that IMAX has this brand new technology for him to use, which I think is like going to be a prerequisite with a Christopher Nolan movie. IMAX is going to be like, here, try this thing that we just made.
It's cool.
It's cool. And then also on top of that, the premise is good if we're getting back into like this action realm, which I think is really cool for Christopher Nolan. So I'm really looking forward. I mean, it's a Christopher Nolan movie with an all-star cast, and hopefully he does the thing where each week somebody gets added.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what more who's going to be added.
Maybe it's a helicopter horror movie.
Ooh.
About evil helicopters.
Evil helicopters.
AI helicopters that have their own minds.
If anyone can make it work,
it's Christopher Nolan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. I can't wait to see who else rounds out this cast. I know Oppenheimer's littered with obviously A to C list kind of actors that, you know, I think the cool thing about Oppenheimer is like, you know, you had your Matt Damons, you had your, you know, everyone that was in that movie. Yep. But then like you run like Jack Quaid popped up in that movie for like 2 seconds.
Josh Peck's in that movie.
Josh Peck rounded it out for like a scene. Like it feels like one of those things. It's like playing for the Spurs. Mm-hmm. like you're kind of like a big deal like in your own, you know, realm of things, but then Christopher Nolan calls you to be like in a scene for like 2 seconds and you're like, yep, I'll do that.
I'll do anything you need me to.
Yeah, it's like playing on the Olympic basketball team.
Right.
Like Jason Tatum like didn't play like in the Olympics, even though he just won like the finals MVP. Like
Jaylen Brown didn't even make the team.
Right.
So like there's big actors that didn't even make this team. So for you to get called is great.
Right. So that's cool. More casting news. Macauley Culkin, famed child actor, turned, you know, I'm happy for him the way his life has turned out. Mm-hmm. Really, really good stuff. But he's been cast in Fallout Season 2, Amazon's kind of surprise hit that we were both really, really big fans of. Mm-hmm. And I think that's great. I think he, weirdly enough...
What did I say to you before we hopped on? I said Macaulay Culkin might be the most Fallout human being.
He fits right in. And
it's nothing we can put our fingers on.
No.
It's nothing we can overtly explain.
He just
works.
Yeah, he just fits right into...
And he fits into the role both ways of, like, he can... If you really want to put him in that retro future piece, he can fit in there to, like, the conspiracy of Vault-Tec. There's no shot they let him play... What's his name? From New Vegas, right?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting, yeah. I mean, they had him show up in the last season, but, I mean, the guy was in it for like 2 seconds. I do think that's going to be like a big part of...
Oh, you're right.
Is the New Vegas, like the Robco stuff, and that stuff, because obviously, spoiler alert, at the end of season 2, or at the end of season 1, Lucy's dad escapes his comeuppance, and he absconds to New Vegas, which had a lot of people excited.
Right.
And I'm also excited.
Man, I think that show was so good.
I wonder if they're going to do a week-to-week model. I don't know if we talked about this when we talked about season 1.
Yeah, I mean, because we did. Well, I mean, one of the big... it was a big piece we talked about was the idea of, hey, this is a show you need to hook people. Like, The Last of Us is already an IP that from your first episode you were going to have people hooked. You can do week to week. It's event television. But, like, something like this, like, you need to get the half of... There's the niche nerds like us that'll be like, Fallout show, sure. But then you need to get everybody else. And that model of, like, I can truck through this thing is good. So I think possibly... Because The Boys essentially is your main event television for Amazon Prime. That is, like, your flagship show.
Yeah, and then, like, Invincible is, like, kind of, like, next kind of tiered down, I would say.
I feel like Fallout can maybe take over for Invincible, but I like the full season all at once. Like, I like the fact that I can,
thought that was really good.
But again, things might change because, you know, maybe that's an experiment we can do, is like look at some shows and think about if they came out all at the same time, does it help or hurt? Like, is it because give me a show. Give me a show that was week to week.
I mean, we could talk, Agatha All Along is like, right. Agatha All Along, funny enough, did both. It did like a hybrid.
Right.
Because it did the first two and the last two as pairs and then did week to week. So I think that's also an interesting kind of maneuver
and
as well.
You could probably bet that on a lot of these Amazon shows that they'll give you the first 2 to 3 instead of just giving you the first step. Especially for the last season of The Boys, they're definitely going to give you like the first 2 to 3 because this is it. Invincible, same thing. They're probably going to give you like the first 2. I maybe Fallout does that. Like do like a 2-episode premiere,
and then retroactively, like I think about a show like Daredevil.
Yeah,
like if Daredevil had been like week to week.
No, I'm sorry. Like I love that show, but you need that train rolling. Like you need to build on the crime. You know, the crime thriller. You need to build on the courtroom drama on top of that too, and you need to build these characters. But you all need that all at once. And it's the Fallout idea of like, this is new. Like, people need to get used to this. Like, all the stuff Marvel IP that you had up until that point was movies and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, this is completely different. Like, this doesn't even feel like a Marvel show.
Right.
So, give it to me all at once. I can binge it and be like, oh, I actually love this character, but I needed it all at once.
Yeah, and it tells, like, I think also the way the episode structure is in Daredevil, like, there wasn't a ton of... You could tell that show was designed to come out all at once. Because what these week-to-week shows did, and I think Agatha and the Penguin also did this really, really well. And it's that what you need in a week-to-week thing is, like, these hooks at the end of each episode.
Well, that's event television 101. It's like, you need this thing to draw people back. And to be like, and again, shout out to Agatha, because I hadn't felt that for a Marvel show in a while, to be like, oh, I need this. And the Penguin kind of blended both of those things, because the Penguin said, hey, like, this is event television, but we're going to tell a really grounded story on top of that, and a really complex story on top of that. And I mean, we'll talk about it once we talk about the Penguin. Like, the cross between the two and the similarities to the two were apparent. Like, these shows are like more intertwined than you would ever believe.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. But layman's terms, bringing it back to Macaulay Culkin, I think it's a great get. It feels like something that, you know, where he's at. For some reason, like, I thought of an actor that is kind of like into like doing like these weird kind of not relatively low budget kind of like niche things that would also really probably fit really well in this Fallout universe. That's Daniel Radcliffe.
I was thinking the same thing. That's insane. I was thinking the exact same thing. I literally had his image in my head. That's insane that you said. I literally was just like, Daniel Radcliffe would be really good for this. That's wild. I was thinking the exact same thing. He would put up incredible numbers in a universe like this. I feel like he would
do really, really well in a Fallout thing. So if you're listening, Amazon, give Daniel Radcliffe a call.
Remember when he did what movie? Oh, Swiss Army Man, directed by the Daniels, who went on to win Best Director. Like,
he did that Weird Al movie.
Hey, let the Daniels do an episode of. If the Daniels can do an episode of Star Wars, let them do an episode of Fallout. That episode would be crazy.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Let them do. You know what episode they should take? They should do the episode where they like reveal all the vaults and let them go through all the vaults and how all these vaults are insanely effed up.
Yeah, just start getting weird character actors in this Fallout show. I think you got a niche there.
Willem Dafoe is screaming to be in something like this.
Yeah. Star Wars news. So we got, obviously, the Andor stuff is ramping up.
Yeah, got a first look. Disney did like a little sizzle reel of all the first looks.
Yep.
Andor was in there, and I mean, I can't say enough. Like, it's the same reaction when I watched X-Men 97. It's the same you are watching some truthfully incredible and relevant television, and it's like you need to kind of bear witness to it.
Yep. We're getting obviously the Rogue One stuff is starting to ramp up. We got a new look at Ben Mendelsohn coming back. We got a first look at K2SO coming back.
King return.
Yep. And yeah, it's going to be a 12 episode season. I think they said every 4 episodes there's going to be a time jump. This will be the last season of the show because the season finale is going to bleed right into the beginning of Rogue One. And I'm just really excited for that.
Yeah. You know what's funny to me? And I don't think he'd do this because Disney would probably restrain him in some ways. It's the thing we're going to talk about in a second, the new direction for Star Wars as a whole, but would Tony Gilroy not be the guy that you'd want to spearhead this thing?
I mean, I would think so.
But it's not going to happen because you need to sell toys at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, which leads into the other news, and that is notable producer of mostly Fox properties. Historically, Simon Kinberg is being tapped to not direct, obviously, because he's not a director. He's not a director guy. He's more like he's a writer and a producer, creator. You know, he's done. I mean, he's got a hell of a resume.
Yeah.
X-Men movies. He's written. He was the creator of Star Wars Rebels. He developed the Twilight Zone reboot. He was an executive producer. He pretty much was the executive producer or writer of a lot of the Fox X-Men stuff. The later Fox X-Men stuff. Last Stand, First Class, Days of Future Past, he wrote.
And that's one of the best X-Men movies.
Yeah, he wrote Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the 2005 movie, which is really, really good. So he's being tabbed as like the, kind of like the creative force of a new Star Wars trilogy. People for the longest time have been speculating what, if ever, that was ever going to happen. Obviously, there was stuff surrounding the character of Rey with Daisy Ridley, some Old Republic stuff. So now it appears that this is going to be like a new trilogy, a continuation of the Skywalker saga, quote unquote, that Daisy Ridley is apparently going to be a part of. And I mean, I don't know.
I'm so torn on something like this. I mean, this bleeds into a bigger conversation about, just where Star Wars is right now. And I mean, before we hopped on, and we've said it on here before, we joked, we were like, why didn't we just get a Mandalorian season 4? Like, why did we get a movie that like got secret? Like, this movie just got filmed, it wrapped filming, and it just like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, how'd you do that? Like, there's so much secret nature. There's such a secret nature to, like, I think Star Wars kind of lost that train. And I don't even necessarily think it was 2019. I think it was a combination of a couple of things. It was how spoiled we got with the television for some aspects. Like when The Mandalorian was good, it was great. Andor is one of you can just go beyond Star Wars. Andor is just some of the best television that I've seen. So I think it was a combination of that. I think it was, I'm not naive. I think it was people's disdain for the new trilogy as well too, and their unacceptance of it. But Star Wars it was such this thing where, like, if you're going to continue the Skywalker saga, like, just relax a bit. Like, I felt like there were so many overcomplications, and obviously direction is a big thing. Like, they didn't have a clear vision of what they wanted, and you switch directors back to the other director for 3 movies. That's an absurd way to kind of go about it. So, I don't know. I'm kind of like you. I don't know. I'm very, like, I want to be like, this is good. This is, like, I don't really have an opinion yet.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything you want to see out of this trilogy?
I mean, we've kind of touched upon this before about, like, what Star Wars kind of needs, and it needs a little bit of different, and it needs a little, really commit to, like, a new idea or a new premise. I know a lot of the insiders speak on this new trilogy is people are concerned that Star Wars is just like a nostalgia feeder. Mm-hmm. And funny enough, like, I think it's the stuff that hasn't been over-reliant on the nostalgia that's been the best stuff that they've done in recent memory. I
mean, you can look at the Jedi games and how much we love those, and it's because, like, here you still have this character that was inserted into this time that we are so familiar with in Star Wars, yet it felt so new and fresh. You look at Andor, this is another character that was here. Like, we had seen this character before, but then you release the show, and again, it's all about personnel, it's all about writing, it's all about, what you're putting into this movie from a fact of, like, again, it's the episode of Black Mirror, like, nostalgia is a drug. Like, it's a dangerous game to play, because once you get nostalgia, people want to come back for it. And, like, I talk, to the mountains about this. Like, I think that's one of No Way Home's biggest shortcomings is, like, you have such this heavy rely on nostalgia. Like, what about the movie? Like, what about the movie you're making? So,
yeah.
And what nostalgia do you pull from now? Like, there's no nostalgia from that sequel trilogy. Like, where do you go?
Rey is going to be the nostalgia now.
Which, I like, but like, I mean, I've already talked about how I think what they did to John Boyega was like, it's borderline unforgivable what you did to him. Because I guarantee you, they promised like you're gonna be a Jedi. Like, why would you not? Like, it was one of the easiest layups I had ever seen in my life. Like, what stormtrooper just gets woken up like that? Like,
yeah,
obviously the Force did that to him. Because he's and they set it up as well as that's, you know, we stopped cloning and we started taking people. This is the easiest setup to make this guy a Jedi. This is so easy. Right. They just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess what I'm fearful of is like the idea of bringing back Rey. Like, I don't think they should. I don't think that character has been on enough of a journey that they can like Luke Skywalker her and like time jump, and she's not. She's gonna be like in like an older version of Rey.
Now they could use that to their advantage to kind of usurp, you know, the like what Luke was. Like they could be like, she's not finished herself. Like she also needs to learn a little bit herself, but she's trying to do some good. Also, what's the evil? Like that's something that George Lucas did so well. Of like, at the end of the day, there's good and bad. Like there is good and there is some bad, but there's nuance that comes with that too. Like it's not overtly black and white.
Yep.
But I'm so torn, like, how do you go about this? Like, obviously, you're going to have a new main character. Just what do you gotta do is you gotta go through the Rolodex. You gotta get, your main character's gotta be, I think this time you gotta go with somebody that's known. Like, you gotta get a name of somebody that's, like, an established actor that is, like, ready for a journey and ready to, like, you gotta be ready for anything. Like, this can be career suicide, or this can be the biggest boost to your career that you can ever ask for. Any names hop out at you for somebody you would want to see in there?
Man, I don't even know. Like, it feels like a lot of people are kind of like in their niche right now. Mm-hmm. So like, if as much as like, I feel like you do need like kind of like a known quantity. Like at the same time, like what known quantity is going to attach themselves to this right now?
This is such a tough one unless you switch direction. And like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a plot detail. It's a major plot detail, but it was the killing of Adam Driver. Like, this guy was the best actor in your movies and you killed him. Like, you killed the one of the biggest, no pun intended, driving forces of this thing. You killed him when he got super interesting. You killed him at the most interesting he had ever been.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, I will scream this to the end till I'm blue in the face. You should have kept him alive. You should have tried to restart the Jedi. And everybody's like, what the, is that Kylo Ren? Absolutely no shot. Like, that plays. Like, that actually plays.
Yeah.
Like, you should have had Rey just be a nobody. Like, that's the point. Like, you do not have to be from somebody else. You are just you. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the silver lining of all this is that Kinberg is going to be writing all three of these movies. Yeah. So hopefully you don't end up with that disjointedness.
Right.
That the sequel trilogy
and I think that's what they know. They're like, we need this to be one straight train of this, of like, this is a trilogy of one thing. Like, this is one straight narrative.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of an actor that I would want to see. I mean, Steven Yeun would be fun for something like this. Maybe even in a villainous role, not even in a straight hero role. I feel like would be somebody that's like, I feel like he can put in some work there too. Of like,
he's such a good like.
He's so versatile,
hero, though.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a good like hero archetype person.
Yeah.
But it'd be a great choice to kind of like anchor the franchise with.
Yeah. I feel like he would be kind of cool. So I'll think of other names as time goes on.
Mission Impossible got a trailer. A trailer and a rebrand. It is not Dead Reckoning Part 2 anymore. It is The Final Reckoning. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Obviously the sequel to Dead Reckoning. It is kind of weird now.
Yeah.
It's Dead Reckoning Part 1 and then The Final Reckoning.
Yeah. Well, it's just the Dead Reckoning now. Dead Reckoning.
But yeah, I mean, this trailer was phenomenal.
I mean, this franchise is phenomenal, much like we talked about when we talked about Mission Impossible 7. Like, this franchise is stellar. Like, this is or is this the 9th one, if I'm not mistaken? Can't remember if this is 8 or 9. 9. Yeah. This is just a phenomenal franchise. And I mean, I remember when I had my rewatch, because I think I did it in 3 days. I think I did 3. No, I think I did it in 2 days. I did 3, 1, and then we went to go see Dead Reckoning, and I said, I was sitting there and I'm like, imagine like you have the stumbles in this franchise of 2. Like, this franchise could have been dead after 2. Like, this franchise very well could have been over. but you have Tom Cruise as your through line, like such a charismatic main character, main lead. But also, it's the biggest compliment that I could give to these movies, and any movie that Tom Cruise is on. Man, he is committed to this, but in a good way. Like, he is full out committed to, like, we are gonna do the cinema one way or another. I told you that plane sequence that's in here that they teased as like, we'll see you at the movies. Like,
yeah,
buddy, like, you see this in the trailer, you're like, oh, like, I'm gonna talk about it when we get to the Captain America trailer. Of like, I have some like, I watched this trailer and I watched that trailer, and I'm like, obviously I'm a nerd, so I love that trailer. But then I watched this trailer and I'm like, why can't this be every movie in Hollywood that's above like $200 million budget? Like,
sure.
Why are we not committing to having this good looking of a movie, this committed? It's the like you always joke about the immersion, man. Like, I'm immersed. Like, you got me.
Yep.
You got me.
Yeah. I mean, this movie's going to be not just, a pairing to directing, but also like a culmination of all these Mission Impossible movies.
If you really want to talk about it, you can split these movies 3 ways. You can split these into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9 if you really want to, because 1, 2, 3, it had the end of the 90s action, and you made a great point about how these movies evolved with how action evolved over the years. Like, it had that 90s grunge action in the when the first movie came out in 96. Then you transitioned into your John Woo, like, Matrix adjacent action for second one. Your third one was like your Jason Bourne-esque type of action. And then you get into 4, 5, 6. It's like, the superhero movies had a lot of influence. The John Wick movies had a lot of influence on the action. And now it's like, they're like events now. Like, it's like your event type of action. So I mean, it's the commit. That's the bet. It's like my one word summary. It's commitment. Like, commit to the finish, commit to cinema at the end of the day.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Vig Rhames has cancer in this one. That's
no.
got to be the thing, right? Like, why is he in like a hospital bed the whole time? And he's giving ominous like mentor speeches in this.
Because Vig Rhames in these Mission Impossible movies will do anything he can to not be in the field.
Yeah.
So this
remember when he was like a villain in the first one?
Yeah. So this will just be the next evolution of that, I think.
Or the last one. It's the final reckoning, Rob.
It is the final reckoning.
This is it.
Final reckoning.
This is like a tripled up Star Wars trilogy because there's 9 of these things, but he wants to keep I think what he's going to do is he's going to transition into like the full out producer role after this one. Yeah. So you heard what he wants. He wants Glenn Powell to kind of take the reins.
Obviously,
makes so much sense.
Miles Teller somewhere. Speaking of that Captain America trailer, we did get a trio of Marvel things.
We can start with What If.
Yeah, we'll talk about the What If trailer first.
It's the final season. It's all these final things.
The final season of What If.
Confirms the Marvel multiverse is going to collapse as well, too. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Like, the Watcher's like, what is happening?
Yeah, the Watcher said, what the universe is.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, my job. My job security.
My job security. It's over. I'm gonna be fired.
He's unemployed.
He's gonna be let go.
He's being relieved of his duties.
He is being relieved.
So yeah, this is the final season. It's only 8 episodes. And hopefully this is a return to form from the first season where it's just wacky stuff. Give me wacky stuff happening.
Unfortunately, I think you're wrong. I think they're going to do it for a little bit, but I think it's the fact that it's only 8 episodes. Apparently the reports out of Marvel Studios is they want to be done with this multiverse thing ASAP. Like, they want to get out of this as fast as possible. And I mean, you saw how well received the X-Men were. You have the Fantastic Four ramping up. Like, get out of this if you can.
Get out of this.
So I do see the potential to be like, hey, like, let's do what's right in the title. Like, what if? Like,
what if Shang-Chi was a cowboy?
What if Shang-Chi was a cowboy? I'm going to ask you at the end. I'm going to spoil what my favorite idea from this season is. My favorite idea is the Bucky and Red Guardian being Captain and Cap and Bucky instead. But, like, they're like, that's got to be like the 80s, right? Like, it's like prime 80s. Like,
yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. We got some cool stuff in this. We got Moon Knight. Moon Knight is in this.
You have the Power Ranger Avengers.
Yeah, the Gundam. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but
a lot of Riri Williams in this too.
lot of Riri Williams.
Agatha. A lot of Agatha in here,
A lot
too.
of Agatha, of course.
Who steals Arisham's powers?
That's what it seems like. Yeah.
Amazing.
I think that's awesome. Obviously, and, you know, one of the...
Just shoot me already, Arisham.
I said this to you before, but do you think...
You think Arisham's going to sing the song?
Yeah, you think she got him? You think Arishem was inquiring about the Witch's Road? And Agatha's like...
He's like, she's going to be like, you're all powerful, right? She's like, why can't you see the Witch's Road then? He's like,
the Witch's Road.
The
Watcher's like, oh no!
Oh no! I've seen her do this.
You're being tricked, Arishem.
Arishem, look out!
Arishem, look out! It's a trick.
It's a trick, Arishem.
Oh no, she's a celestial now.
Now she can make the Witch's Road real.
A lot of Monica Rambeau also in this.
Yeah.
In this trailer,
which is pretty good.
Kate Bishop and Shang-Chi, like I said, are teaming up. They're cowboys. We got, I mean, and again, like the cool thing about I do like the thing about What If that like all the actors for the most part like all come back.
I'm very surprised Oscar Isaac's in this. I'm very surprised.
I know, right?
Because I'm very big on. I mean, this harkens to some bigger issues with Marvel as a whole of like.
Mahershala Ali is also in this.
Yes, that was the big one I was waiting for you to say. Like,
as Blade.
When did they record this? That's my true question. Because if it's 2024.
Yeah.
If they recorded this in like 2022, both Mahershala Ali and Oscar Isaac were probably like, oh, we're going to be these characters for a long time.
Right.
So that's my question of when did they record? Because I don't know what Oscar Isaac thinks about Marvel these days. Because you saw and rightfully so for him, how he feels about Star Wars now. So
unless they've told him stuff about Moon Knight that he just doesn't, and he
can't say, yeah. Or it's like, I mean, dude, the Midnight Suns. Like, is that not your easiest option? Like,
it feels like that's coming sooner or later.
Right.
Yeah, and then I mean, the cool part about this What If trailer was the ending. Obviously, like they did a stinger at the end of this, which sees Storm wielding Mjolnir. So they're integrating the X-Men stuff now into the MCU. Like, officially, like, for real. Because, because Storm is in this.
And at the end of the day.
Yeah, voiced by Alison Sealy Smith, obviously returning as Storm.
Was that not the coolest thing you've ever seen in your entire life?
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing possibly ever. I
mean, and Alison Sealy Smith's Storm is just incredible. Like, when she ramps up, like, when she does the whole, I am Storm, and you're like, yep.
Yep, you are. Guys, that's Storm. You're Storm from Marvel Comics.
Like, anytime in X-Men 97 when she got, like, one of those big, like, ramp-up moments.
Oh, you think they're going to do the piano in this one?
I hope so. Do it. Do the thing. So, yeah, I mean, it looked pretty good. I still like the animation style. We know that Kahori is coming back, which I still think, going back to What If Season 2, there's a lot of interesting things with that character.
Sure.
Like, I liked her standalone episode, and then that character somehow got less interesting as they integrated her.
Well, What If Season 2 started to go against, like, and obviously Season 1 still did it, but Season 1 did it in a way where the Watcher's like, at this point I have to intervene.
And then she got all the powers. Remember that? Remember that bit when she got all the powers?
You remember when Amelia Clark was in Secret Invasion and they gave her every power? And then she just disappeared?
Yeah.
Maybe she's who comes to help Sam in the Captain America trailer we're going to talk about now.
Imagine! Let's talk about the Captain America trailer now, because I want to talk about Thunderbolts last.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got another trailer for Captain America Brave New World. It's weird.
I'm so torn. Because I've seen a lot of people be like, this trailer was incredible. And I'm like... Okay, so this is the Mission Impossible point I was making. So I'm watching this trailer, right? And I'm like, this movie probably cost like $250, $300 million.
Easily, yeah.
Okay. I know they spent a lot of money on that Mission Impossible trailer, but then I look at a movie like Dune, right? Dune 2, conceivably, and this is not an exaggeration, is one of the most gorgeous movies that's ever been released. Ever.
Yeah.
That movie had giant sandworms and planets, and it was wild.
Yeah.
What's so insane about this movie where it looks like this? That's my biggest gripe with this. It's like, why does this look like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird too, because I feel like I feel like the first trailer looked better.
Yeah.
Like it looked maybe it's an editing issue. Maybe it's a truly like an editing trailer splicing issue where like that first trailer was really snappy.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mean, it gave you epilepsy, but like I did like the snappiness of it. Like and this is kind of like it's meant to disorient you like in a weird way. Like that I think that and like things are like flashing and happening really quickly. This one felt more like a regular kind of standard cookie cutter Marvel trailer,
but also it had that overlay of like that, you know, that mid 2000s espionage thriller on top of it too.
Yeah,
which is cool, but I can't there's something off. Like there's something that's off about this. I can't put my finger on it. There's something off, and it hurts me because when this movie got announced, I was like, okay. And then I started to learn more. I was like, okay, this conceivably could be a pretty dang good movie. Like, this can be pretty interesting. Sam's on a good train of an arc right now, especially after Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, you add Harrison Ford. Obviously, you don't want to add Harrison Ford for the circumstance, but, like, you add Harrison Ford to this movie. Like, that's one of the most famous actors to ever live. Yeah. And he's like, I'll be Red Hulk. You're like, excuse me?
Seems like he's having a really good time.
Right. Right.
He's been very, like, defensive of, like, not just Marvel movies, but also, like, of Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford's kind of like, hey.
That's my little brother.
That's my dog.
That's my dog right there.
Which has been cool.
But there's such this, like...
So you're getting a motivated Harrison Ford?
But, like, here's my big thing, right? Like, I'm saying all these things, but then I'm seeing the trailer and I'm like, the things in here I'm super intrigued. Like, whatever this third act battle that they're gonna have on Tiamat, with the adamantium, it seems like.
You're getting the leader?
That's cool. Well, the Hulk's gonna show up, right? Like, I don't see any I don't see any possible...
Hulk doesn't show up in this. There's a bunch of Hulk characters in this movie.
This is a Hulk movie. This is literally the last part of the Hulk arc that you can think of, I think. It would be like this, then you do World War Hulk after that. Like, I think you should have Mark Ruffalo show up as Smart Hulk. Red Hulk's like, no, I need the other guy that I knew before. And then he's like, all right, I'm back. I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because how is he beating this?
Maybe he's gonna hit him with another famous Sam Wilson speech. Maybe. That'll do it. That'll get him.
You gotta do better, Mr. President, Red Hulk.
What if the end of the movie is just him becoming the president, but as the Red Hulk?
That would be so
He's just Red Hulk permanently, but he's just the president.
Oh, he's the smart Red Hulk.
Yeah. He gets a little suit. But no, it looks super interesting.
I'm intrigued in whatever this narrative is going to be.
The Isaiah Bradley stuff is super interesting.
I hope that Marvel does the right thing and they get an actor, like a younger actor, to play Isaiah Bradley, and they do the Goyang stuff, like do the actual, like, I think that would be a really good swing for them. That's beside the point from this trailer, but I mean, just talking about, I'm into this. I'm still super intrigued, especially from that first trailer. I just think if you've got to compare the trailers, that first one it's tighter.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit more intrigue. This one is just a little bit more confusion, and like, I feel like the reshoots are showing a lot more in this.
I was going to say that too. Yeah, like this feels like the reshoots were involved in this trailer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm still super interested. But we got another Thunderbolts trailer on top of the Captain America trailer.
Man.
And this movie looks sensational.
So what we did is we watched the Captain America trailer, and then we immediately watched the Thunderbolts trailer, and I said, is this a real movie we're actually watching now? And I said, thank God.
This movie looks really, really tight, man.
It looks real.
Yeah.
It looks like it was actually shot by somebody that's, said, like, let's actually make a film. Like, let's actually... But I feel like this movie has a good standing on, like, there's a bit of ignoring in this movie of, like, everything that's come before. Like, I don't feel like the Marvel tethered super besides these characters, which is the good piece of it if you're going to do it. Like, this feels like... It feels like actual direction. I think that's the best thing I could say about this.
Do we know who's directing this?
I think we should. We definitely should. But yeah, I mean...
Jake Schreier.
What did he do? That name sounds familiar.
He is.
That name sounds very familiar.
His first feature film was Robot and Frank in 2012. He's directed Paper Towns.
Paper Towns, okay.
And that's it. Robot and Frank 2012, Paper Towns in 2015, and then he's doing Thunderbolts.
The television guy?
Big television guy.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Directed Beef, 6 episodes of Beef.
Nice. Emmy-winning television, too, on top of that.
Yep, directed an episode of Shameless.
Oh, nice.
He's got it's a pretty light kind of resume.
Yeah.
Not what you would expect for
Hey, sometimes you need something like this. Like, sometimes, like, I love that ideal, too, of, like, hey, like, you didn't get the guy or the gal that directed a billion things and, like, these big things. Like, no, like, this guy didn't conceivably do the most in his career yet. But, like, here, you go to cook. Like, go have some fun. Like, go cook. Don't worry about anything else. Like, we'll insert where we need to as Marvel, but, like, it just feels like it's just a real overlay to this, and I couldn't be happier. There's color grading in this.
Yeah, the dynamic between all the characters looks really, really interesting.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Everybody feels like they have a place except for Taskmaster, who is easily dying in the first confrontation that they have.
Yeah. I think all the characters are super interesting. We talked about it when we talked about the first trailer. Like, I think framing this movie, instead of, it's an ensemble, obviously, but seemingly framing the story around Alexia and Yelena, I think is really, really smart. And then kind of like having her be the driving force of this movie, I think is really smart.
Yeah, having her being the main character it's the best thing. It's, I mean, you're playing on the fact that you got Florence Pugh before she took off too much for you to get her in this universe.
Yeah,
you got her at the right, and it harkens back to that conversation when we talked about Black Widow of like, what do you sacrifice? Do you sacrifice Florence Pugh, or do you sacrifice having this movie come out in 2017 when it was supposed to?
Yeah,
they made at the end of the day, they made the right decision, because then you get her to lead a movie like this.
Yeah.
So,
and it just seems like you're getting really great. It seems like based on the trailer, you're getting really great performances out of everybody.
Yeah.
I'm really keen to see what Wyatt Russell does in this movie.
Yeah, that's somebody I was going to talk about. Also, Ghost. That's actually who I'm actually most excited to see in this movie is Ghost, because I think I'm just going to predict our awards. She might be the most underrated character in this whole thing. It might be Ghost of like, this is like, they finally let me be a character in this one. Yeah,
and I think back to your point about, this movie obviously having a grounding in MCU, but not feeling overly reliant on the stuff that all these characters are being pulled from. It's almost like they can do with Ghost what, I'm not comparing the two, but like they can do with Ghost in this movie what the first Iron Man movie did with Iron Man, where they're like, just forget the Ant-Man and the Wasp thing.
Right.
With Ghost. Like, for all intents and purposes, like...
Yeah, the only thing you need to know is her powers and what her name is. That's the only thing that you need to know.
Yeah, and I think they'll just forget everything else, and I think they're going to do that with a lot of these characters besides, I think Taskmaster, like you said, is mostly... I could be wrong, but maybe Taskmaster is probably just going to be mostly just indifferent in this movie.
I think she's going to have a little bit of a kinship to Yelena. And it might hit Yelena a little hard when I do think that Taskmaster... Like, the shot that has all of them... I think Taskmaster's digitally inserted in that shot. Like, you gotta show, like... If this isn't the Suicide Squad, but you gotta show that these characters are not bulletproof. Like, these characters can be killed. What's the twist?
Of this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the twist is probably that they end up being the new Avengers.
Yep. And I think that her... Or Val, because Val's Nick Fury. Like, I think her big thing is that, like, oh, shoot, like, I wasn't equating for Red Guardian on top of that. We're trying to get the Sentry to be, like, your leader of this thing. Like, we wanted the Sentry to be here, but, like, I have a Captain America variant. I have a Black Widow variant on here. Like,
it's just, I mean, the question ultimately is, like, how does Bucky fit into this?
Well, I think Bucky is the government being like, well, you're going to go oversee this, Senator Barnes. Like, and again...
He's like the Rick Flag.
Exactly, and it goes to the idea, too, of, like, how, in the Captain America trailer, the first one, like, he's like, I want to make Captain America a government official again. Like, Bucky, like, we're in a wartime state. Like, senators and presidents can also be, like, war generals and things like that. So they're going to be like, you're still an agent of the U.S. Like, I know you're a senator, but you're still going to have to do Avenger-level things.
And I think these two movies are going to tie together as
well.
I
had an idea today. What if this movie comes out... Not this movie comes out. What if this movie takes place before Captain America 4 and they come to save him? Because who better to take out the Red Hulk than the Sentry?
That's an interesting idea. I do think these movies are going to be tethered together.
Oh, very, very closely.
In some form or fashion.
And that was my point about, like, Captain America being there. Like, that was like, I have President Ross. Like, I have an Avengers team.
I have my own Avengers.
We have our Superman here, and he's going to be like, what's a Superman?
Yeah, and then, we did get a couple quick glances at, what's the actor's name?
Louis Pullman?
Louis Pullman.
Of Bob Pullman? You're Louis Pullman from Bob Pullman.
Yeah, we got a couple more shots of Louis Pullman as Bob. Mm-hmm. The worst kept secret in the world that he's a Sentry. That was originally played by Stephen Yeun. Yep. Who had to drop out.
Yep. To be in Star Wars, if my plans go according to plan.
I think, though, I do like his affableness. Yeah,
that he's like, guys, what's going on?
Like, he's just kind of weird.
I said it too. If they're gonna do this thing where we're gonna find out that they're gonna turn into they need a tank on this team. Like, they need an absolute like tank, but that also is gonna play in like there's a wild card on this team that they can't equate for.
Yeah.
So, I thought about it too. I think I think it's intentional they made that joke about the serums because I think that's gonna be the point of like this is these like you guys have a super soldier serum. We have the super soldier serum now. I think it's going to be the one that Bucky got, the regular one. Oh, you got the high. Oh, so regular.
Regular. No, regular. Hydra. Ooh, Hydra.
Ooh, Hydra, fancy. I think they're going to do it as like think about every single super soldier like the gamma radiation mixed with the super soldier serum that Erskine and then the guy that was in the lab and Falcon and the Winter Soldier cultivated.
Yeah.
Mixed with the Extremis. Like, the Extremis is probably going to be the active ingredient that keeps it going. Hence, he has the power of a million exploding suns. Like, the Extremis is like the catalyst to keep it going. Like, that's why he's so powerful.
And then, given all the super soldier stuff, do you think Zemo's in this movie?
There's a very big chance. And does Daniel Bruhl not fit perfectly into this movie?
Yeah.
As, like, the backdoor, like, he's the one that's actually pulling the strings behind this?
Yeah.
It's what happens in the comics. That's exactly how it goes in the comics.
I think he's in this. I think he's in it. I think they're keeping it a secret. I think they're surrounding it with all the Sentry business, and I think he's in this movie.
I think he's in bed with Val. I think him and Val are like working together to like, but Val doesn't understand what the genie she's taking out of the bottle doing this.
Yeah, because you're waiting again, like kind of like to the Agatha point. Like they left Zemo off as like this fun kind of like he's like all right, he's kind of like an okay guy, but like you got to remember who you're dealing with.
Yeah,
and I think this movie, like I think he comes back
and he's like
an asshole.
Well, I think it also goes to this bigger point of like, well, if I can't kill the Avengers or break them,
I'll make my own
Avengers. I'm Nick Fury.
Even when I'm out. I'm in.
Goat.
And the last bit of news, it's a big bit of news, and it's Denzel news. It's Denzel Corner.
It is the Denzel Corner.
Denzel has essentially given his roadmap for the remainder of his acting career. Before he did clarify some of those comments today and basically said like, you know, these are the films that are on my slate, but then I want to kind of like do some behind the camera work like after I'm done filming these movies. But he has essentially given his roadmap for like what the rest of his acting career is looking like.
Is he not the coolest guy on planet
so cool,
Earth?
Man.
The way he even said, he's like, after that I got Othello. After Othello, I have King Mead.
And then I'm retiring.
And he said, after that, Ryan Coogler's got a role for me in Black Panther 3. After that, I'm retired. I said,
whoa, Denzel.
Everybody's like, whoa, what did you say?
Go back, rewind that a bit. So he talked about, you know, obviously he's doing Gladiator 2. Then he said he's playing Hannibal in a movie. He's doing Othello on the stage on Broadway. So, I mean, if you can get out and see Denzel on Broadway, that'd be sick. He's also doing a film adaptation of Othello.
Yep.
Which, I mean, if anyone saw Macbeth, I sure did. And it's great. So any of Denzel's Shakespeare stuff, I'm all in on.
Yeah, I remember when I saw him in Francis McDormand in Macbeth, I said, like, it's funny because I think I said this to you. I said, I love the back half of his career, and we're going to talk about it and who I think he could be playing in Black Panther 3. Like, this is who Denzel built himself upon before he was, like, this big Denzel that we all knew. Like, this is a Shakespeare guy through and through. Like, that's, like... it's so funny that like that he's ending his career in such like a historical mindset. I think that's so cool.
Yep. So he's doing Hannibal. He's doing Othello. He's doing King Lear. He's doing an untitled project with Steve McQueen.
I have an idea. Now, well, Steve McQueen has Blitz out with Saoirse Ronan right now, which is getting rave reviews. So Steve McQueen too. I mean, he's a phenomenal film. Like he's a filmmaker where people will seek out. Now, hear me out. You do Steve McQueen. He gets his Bond movie. He gets Desmond Idris. Denzel is the villain of this Bond movie. Denzel Bond villain as one of the last roles of his career.
That would be fabulous.
You don't think Denzel would cook as a Bond villain?
Oh my God, yeah. He would be incredible. I love that. And then, I mean, obviously the little tidbit that he just kind of threw in there that obviously drew the attention of all the nerds is that Ryan Coogler is writing a part for him in the next Black Panther movie. Woof.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And he just dropped that in there. That just tells you, like, you know, that's how you know Denzel just isn't tapped into, like, nerd culture, nor cares.
Right.
It's not like he just threw that in there. He's like, Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther. And another thing. And another thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm retiring. Like,
whoa, Jesus.
You can't just breeze past that bit.
Now, he's not playing Blue Marvel, nerd. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm like, look, this is one and done for him. He's not going to be he's not in the MCU. He's doing one thing and then he's out because he wants to work with Ryan Coogler. I think that much is obvious.
You've been saying this for a while, and obviously I've thought it, but you've been saying this for a while on here off of here. Like, I don't think people really understand how potent Ryan Coogler is. And did he just turn 40 or something? Like, Ryan Coogler is
like 38 or 39.
He hasn't, like, I think this about him and Damien Chazelle of, like, they haven't even hit the strides of their career, and they have two of the most...
He's 38.
I think they're both 38, and two of them apiece have, like, some of the most influential films of all time under their belts.
Yep.
Like, I think that people are going to go out of their way, and I think people also took notice, too. Like, when Ryan Coogler dropped that trailer... for Sinners, people are like, oh, no, he's gonna be like, he's somebody to like actually watch. Did you listen to his podcast that he had Jordan Peele on a month ago that everybody was talking about? Oh, it was so good. And again, Jordan Peele's another one where it's like who is Jordan Peele now? Like, he is one of the biggest names like of a director that's not attached to a franchise you can find. Mm-hmm. Like, and you see how much respect they have for Ryan Coogler. Like, that's not by mistake. Like, Ryan Coogler's mind is a phenomenal one when it comes to this. So,
yeah, I mean, this is a unique situation. This is, like I said, as soon as Denzel said it, I was like, this is Denzel knowing his timeline and knowing Ryan Coogler's kind of trajectory and being like, no, I would like to work with this young man. You know, I think that's ultimately what this is, and I don't know who made the call to who first.
I think, and I mean, I talk about this a lot of how I look at Black Panther 2 and I'm like, I'm borderline, this universe doesn't deserve this movie. Like, this movie is so technically sound, it's narratively sound.
It's a movie that almost exists in like a vacuum.
I was thinking about it because I saw people online, I was like reading the comments because they showed a clip from the movie, and people were like, I can't believe that. I said, this is like too good for you to understand how truthfully, this is like an incredible just film. Like, it's like outside of the MCU. This is just a well-made film, period. Like, the fact that this is attached to this universe, you should be grateful for that this is attached to this universe. So, like I said, it's not by mistake that Denzel Washington, I think Denzel might have gave the call to Ryan. Because, I mean, obviously Angela Bassett and Denzel Washington, you're talking about two of the most famous actors on the planet. So it wouldn't be a coincidence that Angela's like, look at the performance I got at, and that's Angela Bassett. She would have given a similar performance no matter, but a director-actor relationship is something sacred. So I do think that Angela might have had a little say in it, and like, this kid is, not kid, but like, this guy
I mean, he is a kid, really, to them.
He's like, this guy is good. Like, he is good, and he's empowering to us. Like, he's somebody that like 10, 15, 20 years from now, like, he might be like, we might think of him in some breaths as some all-time great directors. If he's not there already, like, he is good. Like, and she probably knows, is like, I know you don't got a lot of time left. Like, he's 70. Like, you don't have a lot of time left doing this. Like, take a crack. Like, if you're going to work with him for something, obviously he's ingrained into this Black Panther franchise, which I think this is going to be the last This will be the last Black Panther movie, I think.
Probably.
Do you just... what did I say to you? You make him the first Black Panther?
I think that makes a lot of sense, because I know a lot of people were kicking around the idea of him being kind of like a T'Challa from another universe, and I'm like, the closeness that he had with Chadwick Boseman, I don't think he would step on that character.
Right.
Just out of respect and reverence for Chadwick. Because,
Right.
I mean, one of Chadwick's speeches was, there is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington.
Right.
And I think Coogler has always been very cognizant of deploying, like, these real life I mean, obviously, Wakanda Forever was built around that.
Right.
But he's been very good about deploying these real life situations into these Black Panther movies. And I think, you know, obviously the closeness that he had with Chadwick also, I think that line from that speech, that there is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington, I think that is going to be the tether to whatever this role is.
And like I said, what better way to make him the first Black Panther? Like, he is... You can make him the first Black Panther. You can make him T'Challa's grandfather from the 40s if you want to do that too. You can make him the wartime Black Panther from World War II if you really want to go that route. Can conceivably get Isaiah Bradley into this movie in a way. You get a younger actor to play. I don't know what you go, but you have options. You can make him the Panther God if you want to. You can use that route. I just think one of the best ways to do it is you make him the first Black Panther. It's just, how does this get into this narrative? And again, we don't know what this narrative is going to look like.
Yeah, we have no clue.
Yeah, this is like, we knew this before Chadwick Boseman passed away, that Namor, like, and if you know comics, you knew they were on a collision course, the two of them as well. Like, you knew that Namor and Black Panther were gonna butt heads at some point. So, do you reuse Talcon in this one? I don't know, like, I know some stuff happened with the Namor actor, like, it's been, like, to the point of, like, he doesn't exist to us right now, so...
Yeah.
I wonder what direction you'd take for something like this, because conceivably, this movie's going to come out after Secret Wars. This movie probably won't come out until...
Oh, yeah.
It's till 2027, probably, unless they fast-track this.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you look at Coogler's filmography, it's usually, like, 3 to 4 years between films for him.
Right.
And Sinners comes out next year. So you're probably looking at 2028, the earliest.
I think he understands Denzel's age on top of that, too. So he might say, like, hey, we're going to maybe get this a little faster than anything, too. So that's kind of like my best bet. Like, you make him, because, I mean, they showed that first Black Panther in the opening sequence of Black Panther 1. Like, I think that would be so cool if, like, or like I said, he could be T'Challa's grandfather on top of this too, or he could be some completely different. He doesn't even need to be Wakandan. He can be some other completely different character.
I think he's going to be Wakandan. I just think he's going to be. I think, like, again, Coogler does such a great job with these Black Panther movies of injecting real life into the narratives and the characters, and I think Denzel being in this is like, no, we're gonna pay respect and homage to Denzel Washington through this role that I create for him.
Now, how big is this role going to be is a good question too, because like you're battling with three things. The first battle is that's Denzel Washington. That's literally one of the most famous men to walk this planet, if any way you want to slice it in the entertainment business. Like, do you just not cameo him, but do you like Giancarlo Esposito him and like, you know, you give him this character that's like a comic D-lister, and it's like but the fact that it's Denzel Washington helps this character. Do you give him like the villain role of this movie? That can be a way too of like he could give him the villain role of this movie.
I'm thinking more along the lines of like Angela Bassett's supporting role, where he just kind of cooks with like one big Denzel monologue, and then he's just kind of like a supporting role like throughout the movie. Or maybe, like you said, maybe he is like the first Black Panther and they use him on like the ancestral plane and he delivers like some Denzel speech from the ancestral plane.
Right.
And you're like, damn. Like, damn, he's cool. Like,
I need them to have trust and do one thing. Keep Letitia Wright as the main character of this movie. I think that is something that, I mean, we talked about performances across the MCU. I still think that is one of the best performances we had ever seen in this universe too.
Yeah.
I think you go out of your way to make sure she comes back for the third one. And again, don't overcomplicate this. I mean, I know they got this kid to be T'Challa's son. Like, I know they did these things. I know Secret Wars is going to mess with the timeline. things are going to happen, universes are going to start to collapse, just leave her as Black Panther. She did dang great. Just make her Black Panther again. Yeah. She's the Black Panther of Wakanda. That's the end of the story.
Yep. Yeah. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I was watching and like, yeah. It was like a train of like, he was just like, after that, Ryan Coogler's writing a role for me in Black Panther. I said, whoa.
Because, I mean, that was like always like the pipe dream, right? Like, you're like, Denzel would never do a Marvel
It's not
movie,
only Denzel, but it's like these bigger actors. It's like your Tom Hanks, your Denzel Washingtons. You're like, yeah, like, they would never do a Marvel. And then Denzel Washington's like, yeah, I'm going to be in Black Panther 3. And everyone's like, what the?
And I think it's a Ryan Coogler thing. Like, I don't think he wouldn't do a Marvel movie with any other director.
Yeah, Denzel's probably like, what's Marvel?
They're like, Denzel, we want you to be in the next Ant-Man movie.
Jonathan Majors said, you want me to be where? Oh no, Denzel's Kang.
No, stop it. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. He's one and done. We're not.
Remember the rumors, like the fake rumors that Denzel was going to be Doom for a little bit?
Or that he was going to be Dormammu?
Yeah. No.
In Doctor Strange 3?
Maybe he's Dormammu in this movie.
He would cook as Dormammu, though.
Yeah, he would. Ha-ha!
Stephen Strange.
Stephen Strange. You will be my instrument. Yo, I gotta see Gladiator, man.
He's in the dark dimension.
Whoa!
We had Dormammu already. He was in the first Doctor Strange.
Oh God! What do you mean by the dark dimension?
Come on, man. Don't do this. Dormammu.
Dormammu was shook. He was shook. He said, "What the?"
He said, "Let me out of this."
Let me out of no.
Doctor Strange said, "I'm not going to."
No.
I'm Stephen Strange and I'm a prick.
I'm Luke Cage. Rob just dabs so everybody knows.
I like that Doctor Strange beat Dormammu just by being annoying.
Yeah. He was just persistent.
Hey, Dormammu was like, what is this?
What is this?
Who's here?
Who's here? I would give. And you know exactly what I'm about to say. I would give any amount of money that you can ever think to have on planet Earth to see Denzel as whatever character he'll be and Nick Fury in the same room at the same time.
That would be incredible.
Throw Sidewinder Giancarlo Esposito into that conversation. I don't know how to why couldn't oh my god. That's one of those things where I wish they would have waited like 3 years until the X-Men are out and just make him one of the X-Men characters instead.
Yeah.
Because why is he Sidewinder? He's like a third-tier villain in this movie now.
Because he's in the Serpent Society.
Jesus. Maybe they should do the thing from like where the Serpent Societies are like just idiots.
The Serpent Society.
God.
You think he's going to say that?
No.
In Captain America 3? Or Captain America 4? I'm Sidewinder. I'm in the Serpent Society. And Sam's like, huh?
You're Giancarlo Esposito from cooler stuff than this.
Damn, we did the news for an hour. All right, Penguin, you're getting a bridge review. Penguin, you're getting an abridged review. You didn't deserve one, but we had to talk about Denzel Washington for 20 minutes. The Penguin.
Vic, I gotta say, Vic. Vic, I gotta say.
Part of the...
They don't think we're nothing, Vic. They throw us in these streets, they don't think we're anything.
Dang. The extension of the Batman cinematic universe.
And I will say this right now. Take notes. This is how you extend out a universe.
Yes.
This is how you do it. This is literally how you do it. This is the textbook definition of how to round out a universe.
You know what the cool part about this show was? They were like, people like were seeing like the previews and all this stuff, and they're like, is this just The Sopranos? And Matt Reeves was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
He's still that same Oz from the Batman, but he just says the F word a lot.
Yeah.
But also, I'm going to make this point later, because this show did something that I wasn't even equating for thinking about the show, because you're thinking about the Sopranos cops, all those things, right? All the crime thriller things. This show does so good with Arkham to a point where I'm like, just do a show at Arkham, maybe?
Isn't that supposed to be happening?
I don't know if it's still happening. I know it was an idea that they had, because what you probably do, and also this show being like an Emmy esque type of like the Emmys roll around. Colin Farrell probably has that Emmy right now. That's how good he was. That's how good this show was. So
yeah. What
you're gonna probably think about is HBO themselves being like, yo, the Penguin was like week by HBO was like, yo, the Penguin rocks. No, seriously, HBO was like, dude, we were not expecting this show to pop off like this. So HBO's probably like, Matt Reeves, do whatever show you want.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like if the Batman already wasn't that, this was definitely that.
Who made this point? One of the reviewers made a great point. That they're probably kicking themselves that they made a show called Gotham because they could have just made a show called Gotham for this.
Come on, man. Gotham was cool.
Gotham was cool in the first few seasons. Then it got weird.
It was still cool.
Is he cool?
Hell yeah, he's cool.
I'm Gotham, y'all. But this show probably gets more shows greenlit that they probably weren't expecting. So this Arkham show, you can really play that Arkham show if you want to. You make Hugo Strange the villain of a show like that.
And you put, what's her name in it?
You put Sophia back in this show.
Yeah.
She was.
Oh my god. We can talk about her. We can talk about her now. Before that, I do want to talk, obviously, the lead up to the show was pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. The show's not like the best surprise about the show is how dang good it was. There's not like a...
Yeah.
They weren't
how much
coy.
Kind of like attention went to it. Like I guess I didn't expect them to like care this much about it.
Well, that's what we didn't say that exactly, but we were kind of roundabouting it when we were talking about this, like when the first preview came out for this last year, we were like, this could be something. Like this, it looks cool. This is the Penguin. And you're John the Penguin.
You know what this show does that, a lot of great spin-offs or whatever do? It doesn't just do a good thing. It makes you care about the character that it's about.
Exactly.
Like, it makes you want to see him again, and it makes you want to, it makes him bigger. Like, it makes him, like, a bigger character. It elevates him.
But then, they don't forget the one thing we started this episode with. That's still the Penguin from DC Comics. Yeah. That's still the villain, the Penguin.
But, like, it elevates him to like, a real villain now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which I think it needed to do.
Yes.
Because, like, the end of the Batman leaves him, like, you're like, oh, he's kind of, like, he's about to start his ascent, right?
Yes.
Because Falcone dies, and...
There's a vacuum. They literally say it. There's a power vacuum in Gotham. And
I guess you just going into this, you wonder how much of his ascent is going to be in this show.
They put the whole thing.
Yeah. That's what it ended up being, is it's like, no, he's, like, going into the next Batman movie as, like, potentially, like, the villain.
He conceivably could be. I think what they're going to do is extend him, because I think to my joke, like, HBO was like, yo, what the this show is awesome. Like, HBO's going to probably try to milk this as much as they can. And, like, what a good reoccurring villain, too, as somebody, like, as charismatic as, like, you want to talk about charisma? Like, Colin Farrell is oozing it as the, like, you made it when you scroll on TikTok and everybody's doing the limp walk and everybody's like, and everybody's like, Vic, they didn't want us to be anything, Vic. And look at us now, Vic. Like, he is dangerously good as the Penguin. I mean, like, absurdly good.
Yeah, it's what you get him for, right? Like he was kind of like the garnish in the Batman. Mm-hmm. Like, he was great, but, like, ultimately...
La Rata!
Yeah, like, you didn't need him, but, like, he was just, like, the garnish in the Batman.
And you want to talk about rounding out the universe. Then once he gets his own narrative, his emotional narrative, like, you learn the things about his life, you're like, oh, I can't wait to see him. And then can we talk spoilers, I guess?
Yeah.
Then when you get into it, and he murders Vic at the end, you're like, no, I need Batman to take this guy out. Like, I
knew it was coming. I love what they did with that character.
Yeah.
The character, because he's the audience surrogate, right? He's the tether. He's the one that, like,
he's the one that's supposed to make you believe in, like, the perspective piece we also always talk about of, like, from his perspective, like, he is just a kid who's trying to make it, who lost his family, that whatever means necessary he's going to get there, a redeemable-esque character. But then Oz is like, yeah, you need to die because you know things about me. Because I'm the main villain of this show is about me. I'm still the main villain, though. I hope you know that.
Yep, and just the way the show's structured around, like, they do such a good job with Oz and Sophia, especially, because it's like, you think, like, obviously you start the show and, like, Oz is, like, a bad guy, right? And then Sophia shows up and you're like, well, she's just unhinged. So, like, you think, like, Oz is, like, they position Oz as, like, the quote-unquote good guy against her because she's, like, this, like, maniac. And we're like, he's a maniac, but he's, like...
He's got morals.
He's a normal maniac.
Right. He's just a crime guy.
Yeah, he's just a mobster.
Right.
She's a proper maniac.
And then they literally completely flip that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He's the maniac.
He is the maniac. He's a psycho. And that goes to my point about Arkham. Like, dude, like, it's the whole thing. Like, you know the ideology around, like, every character in the Batman universe, like, it's the idea that all of them are all in Gotham, or they're all in Arkham. Like, even Batman, like, every single one of them is in Arkham. Like,
yeah.
You find out at the end that the Penguin could probably be in Arkham if he needs to be. Like, he is.
Yes.
He's a psycho.
Yeah, and it comes in the form of
We're gonna make it out, Ma.
What he does at the end, not just to Vic, but just everybody around him, is like insane.
You want to talk about a certified yapper? Who didn't we talk about this one week? I forget what we were talking about. Like somebody that can yap their way out of anything. Like Oz could yap his way out of anything.
Yeah, and he does over and over again in this. He does, and time again. The cool thing about him in this show is like time and time again, like he just betrays everybody, and you're just like whatever. Like you don't care that he's betraying Sophia or like any of these other mobsters. You care when he betrays Vic, though.
Right.
And that's the point.
And it's so good, and they hold it. They hold it right until the right spot. He
holds it, like Reeves holds it, until you think it's safe.
Right.
Which is which is perfect. You're like, oh, cool. Like, they're both kind of villains, but like they're gonna like...
And it also frames it in a way where like... And they set up Vic being unsafe... Also, in that same episode, in the finale, in the beginning, like, they said, like, you need to watch your back, like, and Vic, guess who Vic needed to watch his back out for? The guy that he trusted the most. It's so sick. It's sick. Yeah. It's so good.
They're gonna do crime together. This is gonna be great.
This kid is gonna grow up to be something, like, this kid, it's like poetry, it rhymes.
And that's what the show, again, going back to, like, the point about, like, they didn't redeem him.
No. He's the Penguin. He's the villain.
Yeah, he's a terrible guy.
He is a terrible guy.
He's, you could make the argument that, like, in the pantheon of, like, Gotham villains, like, there's nothing, like, wrong with him in the way that there is, like, the Riddler or the Joker, to where, like...
In the comics, maybe, but in this show, he's got some issues.
Yeah, but it's, like, they're not... He's, like, he doesn't have, like, an excuse to be, like, a maniac. The way, like, the Joker does.
But that's where the crime comes into this.
Right.
That's where the crime aspect of this comes. It's like, you know, I saw this gangster Rex Calabrese when I was a kid, and I wanted to be just like him. Like, that's where it works. That's where that piece works.
Like, he just grew up wanting to be a bad person.
Well, he wanted to grow, but then you give them their emotional tether, which is his ma.
Yeah, exactly. Which there was, like...
wonderful performance by whoever played his mother as well. What an incredible performance that was. This show is this show is littered with great performances.
That was Deidre O'Connell.
Yeah, she was phenomenal as Mama Cobb, as I like to call her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you talk performances. I mean, we can talk about Sophia Falcone as well too.
Yeah, I mean, Kristen Milotti kind of came on as like the star of this.
Oh, you want to talk about to the point where I genuinely think she has a role in the Batman too, which she never would have.
Well, I mean, the end of the show sets up her direct ties to Selena Kyle.
Right.
So.
Did they do the same thing for the Batman where they do the Joker tease at the end? They did the same thing.
They did like the Dark Knight Rises thing. Should use his real name.
Kyle.
Man, what was Carmen Falcone cooking?
Yeah, Mark Strong. Shout out for Mark Strong coming in, taking it. It's very. I like it because you know how I think about it, how I justified it. His Carmine Falcone is what Sophia sees.
That's such a good point.
It's what Sophia sees. It's like in your brain. It's like John Turturro's this eccentric, like, and Mark Strong's very like by the books. He's very like...
That's a great point.
But like, that's your father, so how would you see your father? Your father's also like that. Your father.
I also see my father as Mark Strong. Instead of John Turturro. You know?
I personally wouldn't know, but... But yeah,
that's everybody's dad.
Yeah, Mark Strong. You're John Mark Strong. Wait, Mark Strong was in Shazam 1.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the villain.
Oh my god,
he was Dr. Sivana.
And he came back for Shazam Fury of the Gods.
He did come back.
That weird post-credit scene.
With that dang caterpillar.
That movie was alright.
Yeah.
But Zachary Levi, no good.
Yeah, he just went off the rails.
He did go off the rails.
We gotta study what happened to Zachary Levi, because he just, like, lost it one day.
What happened there? He's also going to be... Mark Strong is also going to be in Dune Prophecy.
Yeah, he's playing one... I think he's playing...
He's playing the Emperor.
Yeah, he's playing...
Carino.
Yeah, he's playing one of the original Carinos.
Is he just, like, HBO's guy?
Maybe. I mean, you know how these work for some streaming service. They have some of these guys and gals, like...
Put him in The Last of Us. Why not?
Mark Strong in The Last of Us?
I don't know.
I feel like that would be really cool. He's got that voice, man.
I know.
And again, harkening back to that point I was making, like, that's how Sophia sees him, as, like, this, like, stern, like, never lets me do anything, like, but also protective, like, but then, like, you go look at the Batman, and, like, that's how Selena sees him. Selena sees him as this, like...
John Turturro.
As John Turturro from The Big Lebowski. Like, this slimy, like, scummy, like... anything to get ahead.
Call. That's a great point. I don't know if that's how they intended it, but it's a great way to
it's
a great way to justify it.
The intention was they couldn't get John Turturro. That was the intention.
Yeah, no, but it's a great way to justify it.
So, because he's a little bit more reserved, he's a little bit more, like, calm. Like, he doesn't have, like, all, like, the outbursts, he doesn't have any outbursts. He's just Mark Strong, which I really appreciate. It's such a subtle little piece, but, you know, it's such a great pickup. Like, it's one of those things, it's like, wow, we made this work. We made this nearly impossible thing that we would get killed on. Much other shows would get killed on. We made it work.
Yeah, and then they do a little team up.
Mm-hmm.
Until Oz has no more need for her, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like, the show starts and you think, like, she's the one that's kind of, like...
the good guy.
Yeah. And you think, like, she's kind of, like, in control.
Right.
But, like, no, dude.
Yeah.
He's in control.
Right. Man, it works so well, too, because this show has such great bait and switches, too, because you think what this whole narrative is going to be is, like, she doesn't know that he killed her brother. R.I.P. Young Falcone.
Alberto Falcone?
Yeah, R.I.P. Alberto Falcone. The son from The Sopranos would have loved you. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think because the first arc of the season, you think, like, oh, they're just going to work, like, he's going to have to hold this secret till the last possible moment. But then you don't equate for Oz being, like I said, he's a psycho. Like, he's actually, well, he's not, he's a narcissist. That's what he is. Like, he has no empathy. Like, he does, but and his last empathy piece is gone. So now he's gone. Like, this was the last sailing of the ship to Crazy Town for him to be the crime lord that he's always wanted to be. They even gave him, they gave him the suit up scene at the end.
They did, yeah.
He's the Penguin now.
And then, like, you think it's going to be this thing where, like, she, you know, her and Penguin are going to team up, right? And take out the Falcone family. And she's like, nah, I'm just going to do it myself. She channels her, like, her inner Thanos, and she just kills them all.
It's insane.
Like, it's wild. And, like, you know, and then, like, at the end of it, like, he just sends her back to Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, you outlived your usefulness, essentially. Like,
mm-hmm.
And you know what the great part about, you know, because I saw people being like, why don't you just kill Sophia? Because Oz knows sending her back to Arkham is the worst thing he could possibly do to her.
Death would be a sweet release compared to that place was hell for her. That was actual hell.
So I'm going to send her back there.
Right. Dog.
Because he's a maniac.
Man, I'm thinking about this show. I mean, we could talk about Vic for a little bit because it was one of those characters I was afraid of a bit. Like, I was afraid for this character to be, like, lost in the sauce, but, you know.
Yeah, it's always weird when you,
he also gets the John David Washington Can He Act Award.
It's weird when you kind of, like, create these insert characters.
Well, I mean, you know how the nerds do it, because their first thought was like, could he be, Victor Zsasz? Like, some people thought he was going to turn into Mr. Freeze. Whoa! Whoa!
Because his name is Vic.
Well, I like the Victor Zsasz one a little bit, of like, he just fully goes crazy and starts cutting himself after, like, what I thought was going to happen after he kills, like, the guy that was, like, in his neighborhood, like, the one little drug guy that was in his neighborhood, like, after he kills him, he was going to, like, cut himself, and that was the first one.
But these insert characters are always tricky to pull off, because they're new. Like, they're new characters. Like, obviously he was inspired by Jason Todd. Like, that's like the parallel.
Let's bring Agatha into this, if we're going to use this comparison, right? He's Joe Locke. That's exactly who he is in the show. Yeah. Like, he's the teen in this show, right? What this uses him for, one of my favorite scenes in the Penguin was, and remember, both these episodes happened in the same week, I'm pretty sure, of, like, it was the throwback to, like, the original thing that happened, and I said, dude, I can't believe that I can't believe both these shows did the same thing, and they both worked on each end of, like, showing the incident. So the seawall breaking, like, that perspective from Vic from the roof, I was like a jarring watch. I was just like, obviously in the Batman you feel it, but, like, you're also in this, like, this detective crime thriller superhero movie, but, like, here you're like
it's like a top down look at it too.
Exactly, and you're like, because, like, there's, like, a vulnerability you're now watching this one with. You're like, oh my god, like, and, like, I felt it. Like, I was watching, like, like, the Riddler murdered all of these people. Like, these people's lives were Gotham's life as, like, a city was changed forever.
You know what
that
it
day.
is? It's a way, 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 way better and a way more sophisticated version of what Hawkeye did with Kate Bishop.
Yep.
Like, showing her, like, in the throes of the Battle of New York, and, like, she was just, like, a regular girl, like, in the middle of this alien invasion. Obviously, the Penguin is better than Hawkeye, but it's, like, a similar, like, go from top-down view, because, like, as a viewer, you can get kind of, like, desensitized to, like, a big city leveling event.
And like Batman, I said, and you're
in the Batman movie, that happens, like, it's like it's like the terrorist attack is just a vehicle to get to the final confrontation. Whereas, like, what this show did was the
terrorist attack was a terrorist attack. People were brutally murdered.
It went top down to, like, this way. Like, it went horizontal.
This show also does a really good job of immediately making you root for Vic. Like, again,
which it needed to do.
It's your POV character, but immediately it was like, especially for Oz, and then it gives you such this relationship to Oz of, like, maybe Oz isn't the worst guy. Like,
you want to root for him, and you want him to get out.
You want him to get the thing that he got, like,
that he wants.
Yeah, like, he get, like, hey, like, I'm not gonna kill you, kid. Like, I'm gonna bring you under my wing. Like, let's take this city. Like, and you're bought it just like the Penguin. That's all he does. He just sells himself. That's his biggest thing. Just gonna sell yourself on me, and then I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah, which, again, like, you don't need your insert character to be your main character. Mortal Kombat suffered from this. They made their insert character the main character, and you're like, wait a minute.
I don't care about you.
He's not that interesting. He shouldn't be the main character.
He never was.
He never, Scorpion was the main character. But Vic does that too, where, like, he's not the main character. He's just our insertion into the world, and he's a character that we can live through. So that makes it even more heartbreaking when he dies.
And you see how much Oz cares for him, how much Oz sees himself in him as well too. It's not how Oz, again, it's because perspective, it's not how the audience sees Oz, it's how Oz physically sees in his psychotic, twisted way, how he thinks of that to him of, like, hey, there was this gangster in my neighborhood, like, he gave me, like, I'm gonna give you a shot. Like, no, you're a psychopath that killed his brothers. Like, you're nuts. Like, you've lost it.
You want to get nuts?
Come on, man.
I wish Sam would have said that to Red Hulk in that Captain America trailer.
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And then Sam turns into a Hulk.
Which Hulk? You have the Red Hulk?
Blue Hulk?
Red, white, and blue Hulk.
Red, white, and blue Hulk. American Hulk.
American Hulk.
Penguin. What else happens in this show?
I mean, you see the power dynamic of Gotham shift. So we have you have Alberto. Not Alberto, excuse me. You have Carmine, not Carmine Falcone.
Salvatore Maroni.
There it is.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. Mr. Krabs is here.
We love Clancy Brown.
Yeah, we do. Channel favorite Clancy Brown.
He's great.
He is great.
He's great in everything. Was he what did he give Maroney vibes?
No.
He gave Clancy Brown vibes.
Yeah, he was. He was like, if you were, are you Italian, but you're from Oklahoma? That's...
You're a little too burly to be a mobster, I think.
No, it's just, that guy's not Italian.
No, his name is Clancy, first of all.
No, I mean Salvador. But essentially, Salvatore's in prison, and Penguin's like, I got this new drug, Bliss. It's the big one.
No, not another fake drug in this universe.
You thinking what I'm thinking for Bliss?
What?
It's the prerequisite or the prelude to whatever the fear toxin's going to be. Because where do they get it from?
The Bliss. Do they have a cool name? Like the Dropheads?
The Blissites?
The Blissfits?
The Blissfits? Ooh, that's pretty good.
The Blissfits?
I'm having a Blissfit.
Batman 2, Blissfits versus Dropheads?
Have them duke it out in the streets.
Batman's just like...
I don't know what's happening.
Oh no, a bunch of drug addicts are fighting each other in the streets.
We'll save that for a second, talking about the Batman. We'll save it.
Where is he?
No, just wait. Just wait. So... Essentially, I love the way this show starts too, because boom, like you think
it drops you right back in.
And then also you think about it too of like, okay, Alberto Falcone, we just had Carmine Falcone, like Alberto's gonna be in this thing, pops him, immediately murders him.
Well, yeah, because it's the the prodigal son kind of thing you think is gonna play out. Mm-hmm. Like he's the heir apparent, he's coming to avenge his father's throne.
Show of it as well, how spin off as well.
Yeah,
to have like
exactly.
Immediately no. Immediately no.
Yeah. Just out of Oz being angry?
Oz being Oz. That's exactly who he is. He's like, don't talk crap about me. Like, I don't care who you... And again, and he gives the O and then the Batman or the Penguin logo shows on the screen. And I was like, I immediately was sold. Immediately was sold after that too. And it's like, it's such a catalyst to start the show. Like, how better to do it?
Yep.
Sophia shows up. She's like, my brother's dead. That sucks. Now I'm gonna murder everybody if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Penguin's like, I don't know who could have done this, but what if we ran Gotham? What are your thoughts on this? I was thinking maybe you and me team up. They get the Bliss operation, everything's running. Oz is starting to kind of rope Vic in a little bit. He's trying to give Vic more. You learn Oz has a mother, but no siblings. Huh. I'm no mathematician, but something's not adding up. Man, the Arkham anthology, not anthology, but the Arkham-centric episode with Sophia, or Sophia's episode, basically.
Oh, it's incredible.
Was that the episode that was the highest rated episode on?
Yes.
It was one of the highest rated episodes on IMDb that they've ever had.
Yeah, and it's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It's such a good way to get, again, like, it's a great way to deploy the audience into this character and kind of make you feel bad for her. Mm-hmm. Even though she's a maniac?
Right. But, like, why are you a maniac? Like,
why are you like this?
Why are you like this? I don't know.
Yeah, and then that's when she ultimately learns what happened to her brother. So.
Yo, Oz is crazy. Remember when he kidnapped Salvatore's son?
Yeah.
And then he just kills him and his wife?
Yes.
What a psycho, dude.
Yeah, and then you realize this character in Sophia Falcone has been so, like, hard done by. Mm-hmm. Like, she thinks she's only going to be there for 6 months, and then Carmine's like, actually?
Yeah, I'm Mark Strong, and I think you should stay here for longer.
For 10 years.
And then she commits her first murder. But you think, what's the thought that Carmine kind of, he kind of orchestrated this whole thing to keep her in there?
Yes.
To make sure she did the murder?
Like, that's the crazy thing about her character is it's like an inverse of everything you think about, like, Arkham, where it's like this home to maniacs. Like, Arkham made her a maniac.
Right.
Well, not just Arkham, but like she wasn't a maniac.
She was a normal girl that saw her mother, quote unquote, took her life.
Right.
She was murdered by Carmine.
Right.
He is the Scranton Strangler. Carmine Falcone loves a good strangle.
Both versions.
Yeah, I've got over here. I'm going to strangle you. Why?
Why are you like this?
Why are you like this? Stop strangling people.
Oh no, my daughter witnessed this. I need to send her to the mental hospital.
Yeah, get out of here, boss.
Yeah, so it's Arkham ultimately is what makes her into who she is, which is really interesting.
Right.
Because, like, you think, like, you're crazy, you go to Arkham, but no, like, you're normal, then you become crazy.
Right.
Which sucks.
Right. And then it flash forwards back to Sophia, and Sophia's like, you know what? I hate all of you guys. You guys ruined everything for me. I'm taking the Gigantes and the Maronis. I'm running this. I built this brick by brick.
Yeah, she gets Maroni out.
Mm-hmm.
They team up.
That was a crazy team up.
That was a crazy. You're Clancy Brown.
You're Clancy Brown from all the things. You're Clancy Brown from John Wick 4. He was in John Wick 4.
Just that guy.
He's him. He had a cool fedora in John Wick 4.
And he just talked about the rules.
He did talk about the rules a lot.
Dueling pistols.
I need a gun. What a picture John Wick 4 was.
I love that movie so much.
What a picture.
And then I also love how, like, Oz, when he finds out that Maroni escapes, he's like, oh,
no,
God.
yeah.
Oh, no.
And I love, Clancy Brown, if I'm not mistaken, he's a bigger guy himself. Like, he's a big guy. Yeah. So, like, I love how, like, Maroni's presence, just like in the Batman movie, like, physically Maroni comes out and Oz, like you said, Oz is like, uh-oh. Like,
oh, man, that guy's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, that's a big guy. All I have is this limp. Oz killed his brothers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that episode, because you're like, wait, this guy's a proper... So, Oz watched way too much TV when he was a kid. He saw Goodfellas when he was way too young.
Yeah.
So he always talks about Rex Calabrese. It's the coolest name maybe ever.
It's a great name.
For a gangster.
It's a great gangster
Rex
name.
Calabrese.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's the guy that plays Rex Calabrese?
It's such a good name, man.
It's so good. Rex Calabrese. That's such a made-up name, but also I'd be like, that's a cool name. So, essentially what you learn is Oz had his... what was one older, one younger? He was the middle kid.
Mm-hmm.
He trapped both of them in a storm drain.
Wild.
Because he wanted his mom all to himself. What's up with this guy?
What's up with this guy? I'm beginning to think he's no good.
I don't think he's a good guy. Like,
Louis Cancelmi plays Rex Calabrese.
Did you see this thing that's been floating around online is they don't make faces like that? And it was him and Anthony Mackie. And so he's like, I'm putting a team together.
Of guys that just look like they're up to something?
Yeah. They look like they got something they want to say, but they can't say it.
Yeah, man. Finding out what Oz did to his brothers.
And then, because this guy is just such a horrible human being. They play that so well in the finale where his mom's like, tell me what you... And Sophia's like, tell your mom what you did. You told on me, Sophia? You told on me? And she's like, I already knew you did it, but you still wouldn't say it. I've always hated you. And he's like, that Hoyt, Mom. That Hoyt real good.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially what happens, so you're just wrapping up those last two. I mean, Oz, essentially, Sophia kidnaps Frances, takes her in. She's like, I'm gonna murder you. But first tell me everything, please. Can you please tell? I'm gonna use the tool from Arkham. Oh, yeah. It's Shades from Luke Cage. Shades, man. We gotta talk about Luke Cage one day in full.
Oh, we will.
Todd Bowles is in that show. Why did Luke Cage try out for the New York Jets?
I don't know, man.
That's gotta break a league rule, right? Like, that can't be allowed.
Why not?
He is Luke Cage.
Yeah, why not? He could play for the Jets.
They could use it. Anyway, they could use it.
But yeah, Theo Rossi's in this as Sophia's therapist.
Mm-hmm. He's good too.
He's great. Everyone's so good in this. Mm-hmm. Like, top to bottom. Maroni dies.
Yeah, he's... Oh, I love that. What did he say? He said his line again. I got you!
Yeah.
I got you. Dude,
he did get him.
He is a level 1 yapper. He just kept yapping to him. Even after he killed him, he kept yapping.
Yeah, you can't help it.
I love it. I love a game, says Oz. I love a game.
He's the definition of loves the game.
I love a crime game, man. This is awesome. Essentially, and episode 6 has one of the best stingers, not stingers, but it's one of the best endings when he kind of rallies all like the underground gangs. He's like, what if we all worked together and took the Gigantes and the Maronis out? Because they don't think about us. Like, they want to talk crime and where they came. They all came from money. None of them that are alive came from like some struggle. Like, they're all rich. Like, they've always been rich. Like, we all had to work for this. Like, what if we took them out? We can all take them out. They're like, here's a beer. Play that one song that Pink did.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And that was always kind of like his framing, even in the Batman. Mm-hmm. Like, and what, Falcone kind of held over him too. Was like, you suck. You know? And Oz was like, actually,
I don't
suck.
I don't suck. You suck, maybe. But I need this job, so you don't suck, boss. Episode 8. What a finale.
Yep.
Vic, fresh off his first kill. The end of 7 stinger is Sophia essentially, bombs the whole Bliss. It's basically a fake out too, because that's not even the point. She just needs to draw Oz out of there too, in his little penguin hole. So bombs the heck out of that
penguin hole.
Bombs the heck out of the place. And what a play in, because man, that's ingrained in my brain where he sends Sophia Alberto in the trunk. So Sophia sends a bomb in the trunk because she's a psycho.
Yeah, and then Francis is being tortured. It's not fun. It's not a fun sight.
No, it's no good.
Then Oz was like, you do this to my mother?
To my mother? My mother loves me and I love my mother. And his mother's like, well, actually.
Yeah, that's a pretty big twist. That she knew everything.
She did know everything.
And she tried to kill him.
Yeah, she did. She tried to have Rex Calabrese kill him. Not the coolest mobster ever trying to kill me. No.
But she couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's her son.
That is her son. At the end of the day, that's my boy. So, they have a little, powwow. The Court of Owls were in this? What the heck was that? That was crazy. You're the Court of Owls from... Wait a minute. This courtroom looks like a Court of Owls. It looks like some sort of Court of Owls, said Will Smith in the Suicide Squad. We're some sort of Court of Owls.
So that's it, huh? We're some sort of Court of Owls?
That was nuts.
Actually, I'm a penguin.
Shut up, Oz. Shut up, Oz. Shut up, Ozcob. Stupid name. Idiot. Dang, man. Oh, God. Well, they kind of do it. They do the thing. Like, he takes out Sophia, sends her back to Arkham. And, everybody's kind of on their side. Like, he did it. Like, we did it, Ma. But Ma's in a vegetable state.
Yeah, all the torture.
All the torture got to her.
And all the trials and tribulations of having a maniac for a son.
Right.
Did her in.
Yep.
And that's what ultimately kind of cuts that tether.
Mm-hmm.
The last tether that Oz had to any type of humanity.
Right.
That's it.
What a psycho he is. Oh, God. Let's get this out of the way, man. So him and Vic are hanging. Vic, I love you, Vic. Like a son. We're going to run this city. Me and you, Vic. But you got to die.
Oof.
When Vic said the line, he's like, you're the closest thing I got to family. Or whatever line it was. I said, aw, that's it. And he's like, and it's just going to wait me in the end. And then just chokes him out and murders him in cold blood. He said, I can't have anybody I love used as leverage against me. I can't.
Family. I hate my family.
I hate my family. I murdered my brothers. Like, you think you were good? Idiot.
Wild.
That was...
Which, I mean, you ultimately knew that this was going to happen.
Did you?
I mean, yeah. But not like that.
I thought Vic was just going to die. Like, I thought Vic was just going to personally... And we didn't even talk about Vic and his love interest in the show. And, Vic makes a decision. Vic picks the crime life. Like, he fixed... Oh, and it's that line that Rex gives. He's like, I don't need guys that are willing to do this for money because they can be bought. I need guys that are doing this because they need a father figure. That's
the game.
Exactly. Like, I need guys that love the game and don't have love from a father. Like, that's the guys I need because they're going to be loyal. Unfortunately, Vic was the guy that he was talking about for this. And I said, I need to sever myself from anything that can hurt me because I'm going to be in the Batman Part 2 if you don't know. So I gotta strap up.
I gotta fight Batman in the next
fight Batman in the next one.
And he's a problem.
You ever see Robert Pattinson fight?
Yeah, he kills Vic and basically says, like, family makes people weak. That's why. And that's the shitty part, is, like, Vic was a means to an end.
Yeah, he was. Just like everybody was to him. Every single last person that interacted. He was to the point he was ready to team up with Salvatore if it got him ahead. If it doesn't work, I'll kill you, Salvatore. I'll team up with Sophia. Doesn't work, you're dead. I'll use my mother if I need to. If not, then I don't care what type of state you're in. But, like, out of the psychotic respect for his mother, puts her in the room, dresses up his one female friend as his mother to dance with her in the penguin suit at the end. What maybe this was an Arkham show trapped as a Penguin show.
Yeah.
He's got some issues.
He does have some issues. And the biggest issue, you might argue, is the big spotlight that shines in the sky outside his apartment. Because someone returned...
Okay, let's talk about it. Okay.
Well, wait, let's talk about the Shades comes back and he gives Sophia a letter. This is from Catwoman.
What? You're Catwoman. You're John Catwoman.
You're Jill Catwoman.
You're Jill Catwoman.
From DC Comics. Yeah, so Sophia and Selena Kyle are half-sisters. So I'm assuming we're going to see her again.
In the Batman Part 2?
Yeah.
I like it. And you don't need to do a lot with that character. She took her heavy lift in this. Like,
yeah.
Maybe just show her in Arkham. Just make sure that actress is in, because she is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just make sure she's in Arkham whenever the things happen. Maybe Joker breaks her out. Whatever.
So yeah, as he's dancing, there's a big slow pan out, and then bloop. That's the sound effect it makes when it goes in the sky.
Oh, I have a theory. Okay, all right. Finally, we can talk about it. I have two options, right? Option one, the obvious one. He's just away. He's away. He went to Bloodhaven.
He's away.
He took a weekend off. He comes back. He's like, shoot. I can never take Batman can never take PTO again. You see what happened when he took some paid time off? Dang, dude.
He took laid time off.
Yeah, he did, because he's laid up with Catwoman.
Yeah.
Option two, the much funnier option. The bat signal was out of batteries, and they were trying to replace it for like that whole week. So crime in Gotham was just up 100%, and then Jim finally got it to go, and he's like, oh, God.
He's going to be so
Yeah,
mad.
Batman's like waiting outside. He's like, dang, I guess they're... Are they...
I guess I fixed crime.
I guess I fixed I have hope now. I guess I fixed crime.
I solved it.
I solved crime by being a hopeful figure.
I solved every crime.
There's no more crime, guys. There was all the crime. All the crime happened. Every bit of
Batman doesn't have the news?
Yeah. No, he doesn't. No way he has the news. He doesn't care. He's Batman.
Alfred wasn't tapped in?
No. I think my third option is that he got recruited to be in the Justice League finally. So he's like, I'm going to go do the cool stuff in space and stuff.
Yeah. So obviously the bat signal coming up. We're going into Batman Part 2.
It's winter this time.
Still Batmaning.
What do you do? I mean, we could just address, like, where do you think he is?
Batman?
Yeah.
Home.
Or is it a situation where he's like, this doesn't mean anything to anything, like, have fun, you low-level crime dealers, but then it's going to come back to bite him in the butt.
It's the Arrow Season 1 thing.
Right, he's like, you're nothing. Oh no, the Arrow Season 1 to Season 5 thing. Oh no.
I don't do street crime.
Right.
I don't do street crime, Diggle.
Right. I'm too good for this. Like, why do I need to help with this?
I have a list.
And I'm checking it twice.
I don't do street crime.
Right.
I don't care if these people robbed a bank.
Right. Man.
Because Batman didn't really care about the mob in the first movie.
No, he didn't. The mob was just in the way.
Like, he went to that club how many times?
Yeah, he did.
He didn't stop the mob from doing anything.
No, he's like, why do I can't sell all the drugs
I need to talk to the Penguin.
Right, like, because the Penguin will get me to the Riddler. Like, I don't care about any of this stuff.
Yeah, you guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like, do the crime, guys.
Even when the Riddler assassinated Carmine Falcone, Batman was like,
is what it is. Even the seawall came down. Batman's just like, where's that dang Riddler, man?
Yeah, he was a little too obsessed with the Riddler.
Yeah, he was.
He should be in Arkham.
The Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point. Bruce Wayne is a psycho.
He fits right in.
You freaking psycho.
I'm just curious to see how... I mean, I do wonder if there's an element, like, did Matt Reeves know this was going to be as good as it was? Like, or is he, like, actively trying to...
Well, it's like the Craig Mazin thing where, like, I think that a little bit he knew, like, he was cooking a little bit narratively, like, having so much say in, like, the first and last say in this. Like,
because now have you built this character up so well to the point where people are just going to be like, just make him the villain of the second movie?
I still think you find a way to do Mr. Freeze in the second movie. I still think that's cool as heck if they do that.
That'd be cool. I just wonder, like, how people...
He's got a big freeze gun, but it's the grounded Matt Reeves verse. Where'd you get the big freeze gun from?
I just wonder if people are going to be like, if people are going to think Penguin is like undercooked, if he's not like the main undercooked. But I do wonder if like they think he's going to be like underserved, not being the main villain. Like, I mean, you built him up as such a kind of a force of nature
because Would it look? I mean, I think they're gonna do the Court of we haven't. And I mean, you still could do Penguin as a main villain, but it all bleeds into a bigger conspiracy.
More birds.
More birds. La rata la. No hablas español, fellas.
Yeah, he can't just go back to like funny guy.
No, yeah. Like he's like he belongs in Arkham Asylum now.
Yeah, Batman shows up and he's like, "Oh man, you're a much bigger deal now."
Yeah, I gotta deal with this.
I watched The Penguin on HBO Max. That's what he was doing. That's what Batman was doing. He was watching the show. He was watching the show on HBO Max, and then he looked out the window and he was like, "Wait a minute, that's actually happening here. Wait a second. Oh no!
But I am in Gotham.
Wait, I thought this was just a TV show." Oh man,
Alfred, cancel my Max subscription. I gotta go take care of some things.
I was so invested in the storyline.
Here's my bigger party foul that we talked about before we hopped on here. Who cares about Batman? Where's Jim Gordon, the commissioner of the police department? I mean, gosh darn, what are you doing?
And there were detectives in this show.
The guy from the Batman was in this show. The guy with the incredible voice we love. You protecting this guy, Jim? They recast Kenzie. Kenzie was in this show.
Yeah, so it's like, where was anybody in this?
That's what I'm saying. Man, that guy really did show back up in the show.
He's a bad Batman.
No, Jim Gordon's a horrible... No, is Jim Gordon still a detective right now, or is he commissioner yet?
Didn't he get promoted at the end?
No.
No?
No.
That's gotta be racist.
No, he was too busy being in The Last of Us.
He did such a good job.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah, he like coordinated everybody being safe in the Gotham Square Garden.
Yeah, and he found all the corrupt cops.
All of them?
Not all of them.
He found like 7 of them,
It's
and
impossible.
there's like 50 of them.
It's impossible to find all of the corrupt cops.
Like he like removed like a sink from a house that's falling apart. He's like, guys, I did it. I fixed the whole house.
I don't know what Jim Gordon was doing.
He was hanging. He also had a vacation. He had a beach vacation.
He was hanging out with the Batman. They were watching The Penguin together on HBO Max.
They're like,
should we do something about this?
it's not real. It's a show.
Yeah, it's great TV, Jim.
Yeah, this documentary is awesome, man.
And then the bat signal. He's like, "Oh, oh shit."
Well, who turned the bat signal on? Martinez.
Man, it was a great show.
Oh my god, it was phenomenal.
It was so good.
It was phenomenal. I also want to just get into crime now because of how good the show was.
And it beat the allegations.
Yeah, it did.
It beat the Sopranos allegations.
Yeah, it did. Because everybody was psychotic. Wait, are they not psychotic in the Sopranos?
They're pretty. I mean, look, Tony Soprano's a mild-mannered guy.
But he's always in therapy.
Well, so Sophia Falcone.
Yeah. Oz needs to be. Lord.
Oz does need to be in therapy.
R.I.P. Vic, man. R.I.P. Vic. And Vic's family, man. That, like I said, that was such a jarring scene to watch. Like, when the seawall came down, and you finally felt the vulnerability of, like, watching all these people die in this city. You're like, oh, God, like, this is the Gotham. Like, this
Riddler, no good.
Yeah. I love seeing that scene, or that meme, where people are just like, the Riddler's like, I need to start a war on rich people, murders all the poor people.
Yeah, Riddler, no good, it turns out.
Yeah.
Turns out Riddler's no good.
Give me a spin-off show you want to see now.
Spin-off show that I want to see now, huh? I mean, the crazy part is, like, not a lot of these characters have been, like, built up, you know? Like, maybe, like, a Catwoman thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you get Zoe Kravitz to lead her own show. You could put Sophia Falcone back into that show
That's
as
what
well,
I mean,
too.
yeah.
That would be kind of interesting. You could have them kind of face off against each other, like they can be the true hero and villain. You can kind of take a look at their life if they would have been sisters in full, like if he would have accepted her as well, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a Gotham PD show led by... So that's the difficulty of this, is that Gotham already came out. Like, if Gotham never existed, I think your first thought is you put Jeffrey Wright as the main character of a Gotham crime show.
Yeah.
And let him detective everywhere.
Yeah, he can get through that backlog of crimes that he's been ignoring.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. Like this universe is a very tight group of characters.
I have an interesting one. you do a Flying Grayson show, or you do a show about, like, the whole show with the Flying Graysons, like the trials and tribulations of being in a circus. Directed by Martin Scorsese.
Oh no. Oh no, the trapeze guy called out. What are we gonna do?
Flying Graysons, you're up, finally. Wait, you mean they're a whole family of acrobats? Just the mom?
Just our luck.
Just our luck, guys.
What are the odds?
No way. No way Tim Drake has this. Oh, God. I'm going to pull this off in the bet. There's no shot, right?
What?
Because I think Robin's going to be in the Batman Part 2.
Sure.
There's no shot. No, actually commit to the bit, Matt Reeves. Don't fake it. Have the Flying Graysons be in this movie. Have them fall off the trapeze and have the parents die.
Have Penguin be responsible for it.
That would be good. I mean, it's the same thing you did in the 90s movie with Two-Face, but it's the same thing.
I hate the circus. Kill those acrobats now.
Said the Penguin. Give me an Arkham show plays, Gotham PD show plays, which was one of the original ideas, which might actually get greenlit now. Bring Martinez, # make Martinez the main character.
Sure.
Like I said, you can do, I hope in between 2, you know what I would do in between 2 and 3? If you want to do like a more superhero show, do a Robin show. Like, have whoever you get to play Dick Grayson, like, give them their own show. Like, no Batman, like, you can say, like, Batman's, like, he's trusting me with God. It's because the Penguin's locked up and there's no true crime. I can have fun. I get to stop the petty crime.
Yeah. It's all the crime Batman doesn't want to go out and stop.
Yeah. He's like, this is boring, man.
This guy robbed a bank. Batman's like, all right. See you later.
He said, I'm going to run point.
I got it. I'm on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are, I mean, you can do, I mean, you could have the Hugo, you think about it, you have a main character to lead these shows. Like, Penguin leads the Penguin, obviously. Like, I think Hugo Strange would be a good person to lead the Arkham show. You can do, like I said, the Gotham PD, you get Jeffrey Wright. You do an actual Robin show. Those are like, that covers a lot of your bases. You can do a League of Shadows show if you want to do too. I think that would be interesting.
Ooh.
Do a little League of Shadows show. You get somebody to play Ra's al Ghul. Do Talia al Ghul in there as well too. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the cool thing about this Batman universe, is... Sorry. I had to sneeze.
Luke Cage. I'm Luke Cage.
The cool thing about this Batman universe is it's still relatively young. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone's still relatively young. Mm-hmm. The characters are kind of all at the start of their respective things, which is right for all sorts of stuff.
Right.
As long as just let Matt Reeves just do whatever he wants.
And they're committed. I can feel a commit to this universe, and I think it's not, but it's also the audience. This show helped. I think this show also helped those people that are still teetered, because people are nerds, teetered on Robert Pattinson as the Batman. I think this show helped a little bit to be and a bunch of people were saying I hope Batman kicks the crap out of him after what he did to Vic,
which is great, which is really great.
I need the Batman to come and get justice for Vic, even though Vic also was doing crime.
Yeah, Batman's not going to care so much about that,
right? He's just going to be can you stop doing more crime, bud?
Man, I let you go. I let you go at the end of the first one.
Right, he did. Barry Keoghan's they're gonna go full send to make him the Joker, right? I think you probably put the foot on the gas for something like that. I mean, you don't get an actor like that every day of the week.
Yeah. Again, it just goes back to the Joaquin Phoenix thing, is if that movie was so damaging to the character, mm-hmm. that I don't know if they want to try it.
I don't know if the Joker, though, supersedes that as a character of how popular, you want to talk about superhero to supervillain relationship, that is the one. Maybe to the Joker.
Maybe that's another character that you kind of just test drive in a TV show before you try to deploy him in the movie again.
And that's what would work in the Arkham show of if he breaks out, and maybe that's what you have. You have this crazy guy. You can do that in the Gotham PD show. This crazy psycho breaks out. He's wreaking havoc. And then it's it's revealed that's who it is.
Yeah, let him kind of get test driven in a show first. Mm-hmm. Just because, again, I don't think it can be understated enough how much I feel damage Joker Folia dude did to the character.
Right.
Not just in the eyes of, like, the viewer, but, like, the eyes of, like, Warner Brothers.
Right.
are probably like,
right.
Joker, man, get him out of here.
Right.
So, like, maybe you just test drive, maybe you just get Barry Keoghan for, like, a show and, like, test drive him a little bit.
Yeah, don't make him the main character either.
Right. Unless you do, like, kind of what I said about, in, like, the Batman 2, you make him, like, this Hannibal Lecter figure.
I think that's the coolest idea in the world. And then that goes against the point for Joker 2 of, like, that would immediately get it away.
Yep.
And, like, obviously, the thing you're not equating for is Matt Reeves is Matt Reeves. Like, Matt Reeves is a genius at this thing. Like, you want to get me to care about somebody, give him to Matt Reeves and let me care about them. Like, I feel like him being in Arkham and being like, and again, you're going to have to pick. If you're going to go that route, I feel like Scarecrow's a good villain to go this way with. Because Scarecrow's the best teeter, because Mr. Freeze is intrinsically a little tougher to pull off.
You think?
Unless he's like this just like murderer that's like, you know...
Cold.
Come on, man. This murderer that's kind of like, you know... The way he does it is in a way of like... He does it around, like, he freezes his victims or whatever it is. Not with a big cold gun, but he just puts them in freezers, whatever.
Big cold bazooka.
Yeah. Maybe he was a past doctor at Arkham as well, whose wife got sick. I still think Giancarlo Esposito would be, I mean, phenomenal as Mr. Freeze. You can get Sterling K. Brown is a name that popped into my head, too, that I think would also be phenomenal. I think it's a voice thing for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
But I think there's some actors you can circle. I think Harvey Dent's a character they really want to dive into as well, too. Like, I could feel them making a big deal out of Harvey Dent in the second movie.
Feels like he would fit in really nicely with this kind of crime drama kind of tone that this universe has.
Right. I know Josh Arnett, or what's his name, from Oppenheimer and from Trap is...
Josh Hartnett?
Yeah, Josh Hartnett is like a name that a lot of people would love to see. I still think Oscar Isaac would be a phenomenal Two-Face as well, too.
Oh, yeah.
And then Joker, and then Batman 3, you just do the Joker. Like, you just go full send into the Joker.
Yeah.
So that movie's probably not going to come out until like 2030. Like that movie,
I know, that's crazy, yeah.
And you know what you do? In this universe with this crime aspect, you probably just do the Killing Joke if that's the case. Like, Robin is like... Dick Grayson can be Nightwing by that time. Like, this universe is played out by that time. If you do the shows, the connecting shows in between too, you really round out Gotham. Like, you can really do Dick Grayson. He's already grown up. And then you get Jason Todd and, like, Barry Keoghan murders whoever this kid's playing in is. And then if you do the League of Shadows show, you can bring him back.
I am the League of Shadows.
Remember when Oliver Queen fought Ra's al Ghul on that cliff?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Remember they were going to bring Liam Neeson back for that?
For what?
For Arrow.
No shot.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson would never do that.
He would have done it.
No, he wouldn't have.
Sure he would have.
No shot.
That guy does anything.
No, he doesn't.
Sure he does. He did that movie where he was on a train. Taken on a train.
Taken on a train.
Then he did, I'm pretty sure he did one on a plane.
Taken on a plane.
He did the one where he's in a snowplow.
Taken on a snowplow.
Don't tell me Liam Neeson wouldn't have been an Arrow.
I don't know, man. But that's the Penguin.
Yeah.
You're John the Penguin.
He really was the Penguin.
Yeah.
It was the Penguin all along.
Oh, it's the Penguins that waddled along the way. And boy, did he waddle in this show.
Yeah, he did. It was the Penguin. Are they going to give him the monocle?
Oh, man, they already did the Alfred show on whatever network that was. So they can't do like a young Andy Serkis Alfred show.
No, they can't. They can't retread the Pennyworth cinematic universe.
We're going to talk about Pennyworth in like 5 years. That episode will be great.
When we really have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
Pennyworth? Question mark?
Pennyworth. How much is a pennyworth? This is going to be the episode title.
Come on, man. Oh no, that was low.
Oh man, I hope Robert Pattinson beats the living daylights out of him.
Just pummels him.
Maybe you do the opening sequence. You do like a huge action set piece opening sequence with the Penguin and the Penguin's goons. Because we talked about it when we reviewed the Batman that we think that like you guys don't understand that this universe is way more comic booky than you would ever hope to admit.
Yeah.
yo, boss, chain of command. You just gonna let the bat in here like this? Like, this is the best universe there's ever been.
It's pretty good. Yeah. All right.
We gotta go, man.
We gotta go, man. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, the Penguin. Good, just great television, man.
Yeah, it's so good.
Shout out to everyone involved. Colin Farrell.
He's gonna win that Emmy.
Chris Amalotti.
Oh, what a heat check.
Yeah. Matt Reeves, the whole... Because this could have easily just been like a thing. You know what I mean? Like a fun thing that just led to the Batman Part 2.
But now it's like, this is like its own show that's just...
Yeah, this is like its
really
own thing
good.
now, yeah. So...
There's people that I knew that were just watching the show without ever seeing the Batman, and they were like, you saw this Penguin show? And I was like, just wait till I tell you about the Batman from 2022.
Yeah. I'm sure it's gotten people to go back and watch the Batman too, so...
Get to see what incredible of a picture that is.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see how this all bleeds in. But until then, you can follow us on Twitter at ProjectINF_pod. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/Project Infinite Podcast. You can follow us on TikTok at the Project Infinite Pod. You can follow us on Instagram
at the Project Infinite Pod.
Next week, we finally get around to talking about Venom.
It might be that time.
Venom.
Unless there's a Superman trailer.
When does Superman and Lois end?
I think they got a few more weeks and might not end till January.
Oh, are they doing one of those weird...
I don't think they're going to do the break, but I just think this season's, 13 episodes, and they just hit episode 8?
13 episodes, though?
Come on, man. I got the Batman playing because I'm a psycho, much like all the characters.
So Superman and Lois will be over December 2nd.
There's only like 2 episodes, or 3 episodes left then.
Yeah. Yeah, December 2nd will be the last episode.
Yes. We will talk about Superman when that show deserves to be talked about, to the point where Marv Wolfman himself said these are some of the best Superman stories you can find. Tyler
Hoechlin is getting just like... I'm sad it took till season 4 for people to realize it.
How great of a Superman he is.
Yeah.
Is he the second best Superman we've ever had?
I think he's right there, man. I really do. Like, I know Christopher Reeve is, like, untouchable.
Right.
But, like, I really think he's right there.
Dude, he's so good. And, like, so I'm watching this show from the beginning because I didn't finish season 3, so I'm watching from the jump. And even me just watching the first episode, I'm like, dude. I'm literally sitting here like, this can't be real how great this is, man.
Yeah. And it's just those quiet moments, you know. So, yeah.
It's a family drama at the end of the day. It's such a good family drama they built.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about that definitely in a few weeks. So, yeah. We'll probably talk about Venom next week. Venom.
But in the great words of Jim Gordon, family favorite and channel favorite, we gotta go, man.
We gotta go, man.
What are you showing? Dude, this was around his neck.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
Death taxes.
What's the matter with you, Chief? This isn't the way to do this.
Death taxes and someone in a Batman movie doing a voice.
Yeah.
Can't escape it.
Jeffrey Wright's the best.
He is the best. We love Jeffrey Wright.
This is channel favorite Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, so we'll see you next week. We'll have a good fun time talking about Venom. $400 million.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
This movie it's bulletproof, man.
Them using that as a bargaining chip for Kevin Feige is going to be the best thing in the world when Spider-Man 4 comes out. It's going to be insane. I can't believe this.
It's so good.
They did Noel.
I know.
Insane.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Until then. Wait. I didn't do my bit. Dang. From the...
Careful, man.
From the... Salvatore Moroni of the podcast.
K.
See?
K.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was menacing. He only got undone by a heart attack.
Yeah, I forgot he didn't get killed by Oz.
No.
Oz's aura killed him.
Yeah. So until then, now that I got the bit done, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Peace.